Ready.
I see live there, waiting for the live on Twitch. And good to go. Posting.
Alright, just say go whenever you're ready for me to start the countdown.
Hit it. This week, we've suffered 3 emotional departures. Can our collective sorrow be contained? Find out tonight on The Real Super Geeks. We almost didn't do the enemy opener.
What an emotional opening. Thank you, Ross.
It's going radio announcer tonight.
I feel a little verklempt today because of that. Welcome to the Real Super Geeks podcast. It is Friday, December 18th. We're broadcasting live, so if you're joining us live, hello. We have a lot to cover this week. The season finale of The Mandalorian, a seminal episode, I guess we could call it, of Star Trek Discovery, and then a bunch of smaller news bits that we're going to be starting off with at the top of the show. Let's do a quick hello, and then we have a little tribute we need to do. So let's start with introducing the rest of my fellow hosts, starting with this week, Stormtrooper Beard Fasse. You may know him better as Jason Kovalik. How are you, Jason?
It's been a mixed bag week, right? Vaccines are being shipped. That was a kick-ass episode of both Discovery and Mandalorian, and of course we're going to talk about the more somber news a little bit. So,
indeed. And let's go over to Travis and Lane.
Hello.
How was your week?
Rough. It's been iffy. I've had to deal with a bunch of mental baggage, but other than that, for the most part, just keep on trekking. That's what I'm doing.
Well, y'all will be happy to know that Seattle is the city with the most depressed people right now. What can I say?
Really?
Is that always the case?
Well, even more now during COVID, apparently. We're super depressed.
Whoa. Breaking news.
Whoa! Mike
Wow.
Kirkley, that's amazing.
I was hoping
is
Sean would be on the show
fantastic.
so I could see what I'm supposed to do with this, but
Well, Sean will be on the show shortly.
shortly.
But let's finish introducing our fellow hosts. Next on the docket is, we like to think of her as our mascot from Star Trek Picard, Index, but actually she is Sunseal. Sun, how are you this week?
Hi, I really hope this works. Please let this work. Am I back yet?
Yeah.
You are back.
Yes.
Your regular
Oh.
avatar.
Hey!
Is that a Skyrim background?
Yes, it is.
Ooh,
I
extra
know
my
points
Skyrim.
to
I
Travis.
actually took that screenshot myself.
Skyrim does have some gorgeous backdrops.
It does. It really
That's true.
does.
Well, welcome back to your regular avatar.
Yay!
I was sort of hoping that we'd get one last Toadman since it was the season finale of The Mandalorian, but I like your regular avatar.
Yeah. Well, hey, whatever. I could switch.
That's true. This is America. You could do that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go to our next. We're going to go with our stalwart producer, Justin Burton. Justin, how are you this week?
I'm doing quite well. It's been a fun couple days, I think I pissed off a few neighbors last night shouting for the Mandalorian on Discovery.
I actually did for both as well, which I'm looking forward to.
It's going to be a fun show, I think, for all of this one.
Yes, we will see. And next is, well, we like to call him the Eyebrows of Doom, but you all at home probably enjoy his mellifluous voice more. That is Ross Bullock. Ross, how are you this week?
Cold.
You look very bundled up.
I am very cozy in the hat my mother knitted for me. This
wow.
nice, relatively new coat, cup of coffee. I'm set in this little frigid basement studio of mine.
Now I want some coffee. Yeah, I've got a little heater going, which is keeping
And
me
you're in the
nice and
city
Yeah,
of
same
coffee,
here.
man. You have no
I
I got a
am
excuse.
heater and a heating pad on me right now.
But one thing I
Well,
miss
how
Oh, there's
most
heater
Toad
about
Man.
one thing I miss most about Seattle and the area surrounding it, bikini baristas.
Yes, they don't do that as much in the winter, I think. I'm not sure.
Well, they did in.
It's not really a draw for me, as you might imagine.
Well, not for you certainly, but you know, they were plentiful in and around Kitsap.
Yes.
Ross,
Although,
we gotta get you a heating pad and put it in the back of your chair for the show, so that way we can at least keep your butt warm.
yeah, warm butt
Yeah,
means
what
a
we
warm
need to
heart.
what we need to send Carlos to is a chip and beans.
Shit.
I shudder to think. I shudder
It
to
took me a
think.
second to get the
I'm not
double
going to
entendre.
ask. I'm not going to ask.
Just
chip
like
and beans?
Dale.
It's just the Chippendales of coffee.
Yeah, chip and
Oh.
beans.
Think
For
about
some
it.
reason, I got that right off. I don't know why.
Why is my
It's
cat-
our minds aren't as perverse as yours.
Is it?
Is
No,
Is
my
it
mind's pretty
perver-
perverse.
Is it perversion or is it just being in the culture?
It's the culture, man. It's the
You
culture.
guys
wars.
are gonna be the death of me. You guys
We're
are
working
gonna
on
be the
it.
death
We're
of me.
working on it,
we're
Travis.
working on it a
But not
little
Lane.
bit every day.
We want
bit.
Lane to survive.
Yeah, see,
Yeah,
whenever
call
we
it.
die, Lane gets automatically guardian to Carlos. We've already arranged.
I'll take
it
good
all
care of him,
taken
Travis. Promise.
That'll be in the will and testament. Carlos
And-
gets the plush.
And I promise I will not take off his sales tag. Do the folks at home know about the sales tag?
Do they? I
He
don't
has
know.
never removed the sales tag from Plushy Lane. How long have you had Lane?
I ordered him sometime this year, so I mean
Okay.
it's not been like overly long. I've just never really bothered taking it off, and I have no real explanation why.
I can't explain it either, but
It makes
now
it makes it a collector's item.
now it's a thing,
And
I guess.
I don't really do that. That's the thing. Like I am totally a guy. Mint in box. I don't care. You know that. I'm pretty sure that I would horrify a lot of collectors with what I do with my things.
With your
But
packaging.
yeah, I'm just not really that guy.
Okay, that's fine.
I actually agree with you. Like the idea of like having a carded action figure is weird to me.
Yeah, he gets me.
Oh, that's so cute.
Aww.
All right. Well, I was hoping Sean would show up. He will eventually, but he'll join us when he joins us. In the meantime, I wanted to take a little bit of time at the top of the show to do a short remembrance of a gentleman we have had on the show many times. He's a well-known Star Trek author. I had the privilege of working with him on an episode of Star Trek New Voyages that he wrote and I helped produce called Enemy Starfleet. We're, of course, talking about Dave Gallanter, who passed away last week from cancer. He had announced it publicly, about a month ago, 6 weeks ago, and went pretty fast. And we miss him. So we thought we'd take a moment of silence to just remember him and his contributions to Star Trek, to fandom, to Aximonitor, and to this show.
That's all.
Okay, and thank you for putting up Dead Endless, which is his latest novel, which was a Star Trek Discovery novel, focusing on Paul Stamets. And I haven't read it yet, but it is in my queue on my audiobooks. So that's that. Does anyone have any memories or anything they want to share about Dave? That
Yeah, I mean, I can. I was him and I through, of course, Axonar, we became friends. And when he was writing Dead Endless, him and I would just exchange. I mean, I remember one week I was in San Francisco for work, and like when I wasn't like working and talking to my family, he was who I was talking to, and he was talking to me about the book. And he actually included a character named Kavalik in the novel. So, you know.
but not Fasse.
Not to say. Damn it, Carlos! I was about to cry.
You still can.
Oh.
You still can. Justin, how about you?
Through Action Monitor, whenever I first met Dave, and then got to know him a bit better whenever he was coming on to the show when I started coming on here. Through George, of all people. Well, everything that kind of connects all through him, Yeah, he was always funny. He would cut up with the jokes and everything. It really sucks because it seemed like we just lost George a year ago, and now we lost another good friend of ours.
Indeed. Anyone else?
Why not? I mean, like, mine's pretty simple. I didn't really know the guy too much. On Axa Monitor, I think it was Kate Stark who posted a little blurb from Dead Endless, and it was just it wasn't important to the story or anything. It's just a little bit of shade that was tossed in the direction of Alec Peters, and the line was something along the lines of like they were talking about the Garth of Izar and the battle for Axanar. And Paul Stamets is thinking like, oh yeah, I remember something about this psychotic captain who rechristened his ship from the USS Heisenberg to the USS Ares when a planet wouldn't go to his will or something like that. And there was just like Axa Monitor was going crazy over this little blurb, and I was just like, you know what, screw it. I'll go to Memory Beta and edit the USS Heisenberg to say like during the Battle of Axanar, the Garth of Izar, he rechristened it as the USS Ares, and I posted it to Memory Beta, and people were just like, good job, you. And Dave Gallagher was tickled by that. I was just like, yeah, good. I thought it was just a little silly thing that happened. It stuck with me.
I actually have a secret about Dave.
Yeah.
He would occasionally use a burner Google account and send bad secrets or bad leaks to Doomcock, and yeah, we would kick around ideas, and he'd send up from his Google account from this.
Did Doomcock ever bite?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know who we need to get to do that? Dayton.
Yes.
Well, they didn't know it was
How
Galanter.
do you know
They
that-
didn't know it was Galanter doing it. It was, but he just did it. Like we were talking about it.
Well, if you're using a burner Google account, you don't know who it's going to
that's
be.
true, yeah.
We need to get Dayton to do this.
I would say don't bait him any more than he's already getting baited. 4chan's doing a good with that.
Yeah.
Well, the news theory going around is that RMB is actually Doomcock.
I don't think so.
No, because he's not a white supremacist.
He's not. He's
He's
Jewish.
also not writing
He wouldn't-
fake suicide notes.
Don't get our hopes up. Anyway,
Share a memory.
anyone? Does Lane have a memory that he wants to share?
I don't know if you ever met him.
Oh, jump complete, Gofalik said. All right, you're famous, Jason. Look at you.
This was a really big deal to me.
No, it should
me.
be mentioned in a book. Why not? It's a big deal. You're now in memory beta as well.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, he doesn't have his entry yet.
Well, I'm sure he will soon.
Maybe if I read the book, I have to. I'm writing too much. Ross, share a
By
memory.
the way,
I don't recall ever meeting him, so I really don't have a memory to share. Sadly.
No.
That's
for
right.
those
It
who
was-
do not know, our friend Travis here is a memory alpha and beta editing master. So 90% of the
Master,
stuff
not
on there
so
he's
much.
messed with.
I think
not so much.
don't you get the credit for the synopses for all of the episodes of Lower Decks?
I did write out the synopses for all of Lower Decks. I am kind of proud of
That's a
that.
big deal. And we also should mention, by the way, that you are one of the admins of Facebook's largest Star Trek discussion group, and you are in the middle of a countdown of Star Trek's greatest antagonists. Correct?
That is correct.
Top 30, right?
Yes, top 30. We just covered number 13.
Which was whom?
Harcourt Fenton Mudd.
Oh, yes, indeed. And you aren't going to give us, I suppose, a sneak peek about who tomorrow's is going to be? Number 12?
DS9 Cloak and Dagger.
Okay, we know who that is. Okay. Although I don't think of him as antagonist. I think of him as protagonist adjacent.
Well, you can argue that with that. You can argue with me about that tomorrow.
Okay, I'll look it up and get back to you on it.
I ranked Q too low, apparently.
No, I'm fine with that. Jesus, Q. Anyway, we'll talk more about Q when we get into this week's episode of Discovery.
Which he did not appear.
Yes, thank God, and hopefully never will. Okay, so some big doings this week outside of Discovery and The Mandalorian that I wanted to touch on and just get some quick impressions from you all. We had the the premiere of season 5 of The Expanse on Amazon Prime Video. They released the first 3 episodes, and then the rest will be released weekly, I think on Fridays, just like they did with The Boys. And who got a chance to watch at least the first episode?
I watched the first 3.
Oh, for shame. I will say this. I watched the first 2 and probably 15 minutes of the third.
Carlos.
Well, I ran out of time today. I had to go get my shingles shot today, which, ouch, hurt. Still hurts. It actually didn't hurt at the time as much as it hurts now. But anyway.
Is that one of the oil-based shots that like tetanus that like makes you feel like someone slammed you in the arm?
Yes, it does feel
you're
like
gonna
that.
hurt worse tomorrow.
It will hurt worse tomorrow, and it will also, if it's like they say, apparently the side effects are worse with the second shot because it's a 2-shot regimen. And the first one, like the day after, just laid me out. I slept for 12 hours straight, and maybe worse tomorrow. We'll see. Or if I, conk out during the show tonight, you'll know it hit early.
You see, this is what happens when you put chemicals in your body.
If you clunk out during the show, we will make fun of you endlessly.
Excuse me while I put chemicals in my body.
Everyone but Stormtrooper Beard Fassé, because he's the one who actually has fallen asleep on camera on this show.
Shots fired.
One of my favorite memories of the Real Super Geeks podcast.
That's because someone was going on forever about the show they watched that week, and I was just so tired.
Oh, possibly. Justin, do you have anything you want to say about?
Already done. We haven't went with Sun yet, though.
Oh, Son, did you see the?
What?
Did you see the Expanse?
Oh,
No, I don't care about the Expanse.
I didn't think you did.
we're
Okay.
on the Expanse. We're on something else.
No, we aren't quite yet.
It's been a long week.
So we have coming up. Oh, go ahead, Justin. Where are you?
But yeah, on the Expanse, only the Amazon had turned into the ending into your 3-episode arc. Yeah, that's literally what they did with last season. They went with the ending that we all saw from last season of the asteroid strike. Spoilers, but I mean, not that bad. And they turned it into literally a 3-episode arc leading up to it. That was, I think the way they did it, the way they went about it was pretty good. You like the ending of the 3rd episode.
I'm looking forward to it. I will say I'm glad we have seen a ton of Christian Avasarala, who's now been kicked out of the UN Secretary General's office and is now managing immigration on a lunar base. Kind of a come down, but she's still at it. I just love that character. I love that actor. And also, for those of you who know who Amos is on that show, they're doing some great stuff with him. He is kind of
Number 2.
Thank you, Brenda. Anyway, he's a character who's kind of a psychopath, except we find out he's not really a psychopath. He just has issues. Oh my God,
Sean.
What's up, Liz?
It's Sean Deere O'Halloran.
Sean Deere O'Halloran. Wow, Sean. I guess you're not wearing pants this week either.
God.
My chairman,
This is happening. This is
my chairman,
happening.
she has been outdone.
You're walking around, I'm sorry to say it, buck naked.
Stop it. No. Stop it.
Hey, tell us, man.
No, dare I say that you look stunning there.
Did
Sean.
we just actually did we get 3 in a row stop it's out of Travis?
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did.
3 yelled stop it's out of Travis. One of those might have been Lane. I'm not quite sure. I was jumping around too much, but
Look at Sean's edited name.
okay, Sean, explain yourself.
I don't think
Come on, Bambi.
I don't think there's anything to explain. I think we all know exactly what's going on. I'm celebrating for the holidays.
I was supposed to say it's Christmas, bitches.
Damn right.
Okay, so Travis has a thing to do now that Sean is here.
Yes.
So do I.
You'll notice, Sean, that some of us are wearing a special comm badge today.
I
I didn't-
noticed that.
I didn't know I was supposed to open it.
Oh,
He
you
was
can-
waiting till Christmas, and we're like, dude, get on with it.
I'm actually, it kind of hit me like,
Sean, you missed the earlier part where Greg Kirkley actually said that both Discovery and Mando, that's it, killed it this week. Greg
Whoa.
Kirkley said that.
Greg.
You're trying to give me a heart attack, Greg? You're killing me here.
ugh.
Okay,
We
yeah, it
love
was hard
it.
to open. I had to use scissors.
Are you ready yet? Are you?
He's opening it now.
Oh,
Hold it
that's
up to the camera while you're opening it.
There you
There
go.
you go.
It's
Little
Christmas
Killer
badgie.
Badgie.
Okay, and I want to point something out because to the wonderful folks at Fansets actually put a limit on 3 of these. The moment I found out this was available, I went and I ordered all of you guys one. And in like the next day, I got a refund for like all of them but 3. And so I reached out to the fine folks at Fansets and I said, look, I just want to let you know I'm not going to scalp these. Because people will scalp these things.
Oh my god.
And I said, we do this geek podcast. I just want to get one for everyone on the crew. And they're like, I said, could you please make an exception? And like instantaneously on a Saturday, they responded back to me. Absolutely. We do anything we can for the geek community. They're awesome. They're an awesome company. They've got phenomenal customer service. And they like said, just put the order in right now. Yep, there you go. I said, put the order in right now. And they were like in real time tracking my order with them and communicating with me through Facebook Messenger. Great company. Lou in the Game does a great job. I highly recommend Fansets for all your.
Yeah, they're great. We got to meet them last year at STLV at their booth, and oh wow, look at that! You are such a show off, Jason.
Well, I'm just showing the people the quality of their merchandise.
Their merchandise is pretty good.
Yeah, it's very good quality. Yep.
Yeah, and I'm still impressed by the fact that when they sent me my Picard comm badge, they addressed it to Captain Carlos Pedraza, so they will forever be in my heart.
Yeah, I haven't selected mine that say something quirky on the package whenever I got it. But
If you order one, son, that yours might say something like Sunseal Toadman.
You know, and they're one of the most like
Well, maybe.
Yeah, that works.
they are one of the most thorough. Like, you know, they've sent product back. They've had orders. They've sent product back because it wasn't of quality.
Right.
You know, I ordered the lower deck magnetic badge that I'm waiting for, so I can complete my badge sets. So I can have 5 when I rig the shows.
Me too.
And they you know, the shipping was delayed, and they're saying, you know, hey, we're sorry for the shipping delay. You know, it'll be here, but if you want a refund, take a refund. Like they're one of the best, most customer service oriented.
Yeah, they're up front.
And I met them last year with you guys at their booth, and you know, they're not a sponsor yet, but you know,
we do like them.
Hey,
Yes, we do.
Hint.
Chance, exactly.
Okay, Sean, just so you know, we started off with a moment of silence for Dave Gallagher,
Of course.
and also shared some memories. And I know you and Dave were pretty close.
Yes.
Anything you want to share before we move on?
Well, I met Dave through because of the what should we call this? absurdity that is Axanar, and because people don't know this, part of that saga is that at one point Alec had asked Dave first to do some edits for him, help him out, do some edits for him for his screenplay, and Dave provided a couple of suggestions for him to make it run smoother, and then it escalated up to Alec wanting Dave to write unlicensed Star Trek novellas for Axanar, and Dave's like, nah, I can't do that. That's just not going to work. And unless you get licensing, we're working on that. Months go by. He's asked them again, and Dave's like, well, did you get licensing? And of course, Alec's reply was, look, you can just do it under a pen name. Nobody will know. And so that whole thing is what brought Dave and I together. But over the years, we became just incredibly good friends. And he was just a wonderful, just human being in general. Nothing but love in his heart for his friends and fandom and the fandoms in general. This is a guy that literally the only thing that bothered him was people hurting other fans, taking advantage of other fans. It's the only thing that ever ruffled his feathers. Nothing else could. He was just a wonderful human being. He was a wonderful family man. He lived with his wife and his brother's family, and his nieces and nephews were like his own children, and he doted on them the same way I dote on my own kids. And it was an honor and a privilege to know him, and I can say that like I said in his in the fundraiser that was going around for cancer research for him, that he was there's what did I say? I said that it's very simple, that the world is a little less bright without him in it, is really what it comes down to. That's to sum it up. Just a wonderful human being all around, and it's heartbreaking that we lost him so young.
Indeed.
Yes.
So while that was going on, there was a war going on in the Facebook chat.
What happened?
Oh, Jesus Christ!
So
I am being teased.
bring up the Adam Isle comment from 11:14, or well, my 11:14, the 14th minute.
I have the perfect response to this too. Like, just
what did he say?
all right. Well, here's the first thing.
Oh, there it is.
All right.
Oh,
No, this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. Okay.
Then the next comment. Then the next comment.
Greg is keeping track.
Then the next comment.
Good Lord, how many are there? Oh man!
All right. So, you want my response from this? Do you picture the Lower Decks episode Terminal Provocations? Right as Rutherford kicks Badgie to get the program started, and he intending to fly off, there's just a moment where Badgie's just sitting there frozen, smiling, and their music's all ominous, and that's just me right now. That's me right now, because my urge to kill is rising. I want to flip the table right now.
Don't get your antlers in a bunch, Travis.
Oh.
Well, now to be fair, Sean is the one wearing antlers, so
Well, yeah,
Sean can't get his antlers in a bunch.
Yeah, I'm
call those antlers.
Yeah, I don't know, horns, because I'm a little horny.
Oh no!
Angry cheese sipping.
Oh, no.
Angry cheese sipping.
Angry
What
cheese
she
sipping.
said.
Oh my God. Okay. Let's try getting back on track now. Okay, we've dilly-dallied so much, so let's jump into our discussion about this week's episode of Star Trek Discovery, Terra Firma Part 2, in which we discover the ultimate fate, or maybe it's the penultimate fate, of Emperor Philippa Georgiou in this second of two parts episode. As you recall, she was sent back by some mysterious,
Carl?
powerful being, now not so mysterious. I think most of us called this one, have we said our official spoiler warning yet, Justin?
Spoilers.
Spoilers!
Spoilers.
Kind of a given.
It should be kind of a given.
Remain
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
I love hearing
Continue at
Casey's
your
voice.
own risk. You have been warned.
You have been warned. Right. So she was hurtled back in time to the mirror universe to work out her issues, and of which there were, I think, a lot. So she decided she needed to redeem her version of Michael Burnham, who was, a psychopath.
The best Burnham that we've had so far.
No crying out of this Burnham. So that's a win for.
But there was a lot of
First time.
screaming.
There was a lot of screaming. There was a lot of agonizing.
The Empress put it best. Why do they only learn through pain?
I know. It's every parent's wish. Anyway, so Philippa Georgiou is an interesting character because we started out meeting her prime version, who was considered one of the best captains ever in Starfleet. She was quickly killed, and we thought gone forever until mid-season 1, when we were surprised to learn that in the Mirror Universe, she was the emperor of the Terran Empire and managed to escape a coup thanks to Michael Burnham, who dragged her along with her into the Prime Universe. And then she went to Section 31, and then she helped with, the Discovery get away from the AI at the end of season 2. And so she was stuck in the 32nd century with the rest of the crew. But apparently, and we've talked about this, and so please, feel free to wax eloquent about this, about the redemption arc for that many of us predicted we were going to see from or about Emperor Georgiou.
Adam.
Adam, Sean. Oh, good God.
Keep him coming, Adam.
Adam. Okay, so let's do a quick round robin and see just generally what you all thought. Something you liked, something you didn't like, or you questioned from this episode. Let us start with the recovering Ensign Beard Fassé.
It's Stormtrooper Beard Fassé this week.
That's why you're recovering.
Oh, okay. I thought that this was probably one of the best episodes of Discovery. And I don't say that every week, Greg, so don't say I do. I think that this is really like this show, there's a lot of derision about Star Trek shows having bad first and second seasons. I get that a lot of people don't like the first, second seasons of Discovery. I actually really do. I don't think the first and second seasons were bad, but the show is really kind of coming into a place where it is simultaneously Star Trek and something in its own right that is really good. And I hope that these writers can keep the steam up.
All right. Any parting words about Emperor Georgiou?
There's a reason why they said they could not have the Section 31 show until after season 3 of Discovery.
And now we know why.
know why.
Yep.
We'll get into that a bit more. In the meantime, let's hear from Ross Bullock.
There was a lot to love in this episode. There was so much to take in. I don't even know where to start. Just everyone was fantastic. Michelle Yeoh was spellbinding, and okay, wrong show. That's Mandalorian. But I was right about Carl. There, such an emotional and cathartic release or let go, loss at the end, I guess. Admiral, are you chewing at my badge? Stop chewing at my badge.
Cats, man.
Cats, I know.
It's all
the
Adam's
Admiral did
fault.
come off
It's
as a
all
little
Adam's
bit dickish towards the end, but I mean, after everything Discovery gets into each and every week, I think it's warranted. In the end, he didn't rebuke Saru in the end, though. So there's that. He wasn't actually in trouble. I loved seeing the mirror universe in this light. I loved seeing how Giorgio has grown over time and how that clashes with how she was as a Terran. And even Saru at the end said, "You are not Terran." It's a real indication of how she's grown and an interesting springboard to whatever the future has awaiting her.
Indeed, in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I have an idea where that past is, and I think you guys are going to disagree with me.
I am looking forward to debating that with you. In the meantime, let's hear from Buck Naked O'Halloran.
Hey, this I think this is the best episode of the series so far.
Do not chew my minis.
Stop chewing on the badge.
No, not the badge. He's chewing on my my wargaming miniatures.
Oh boy, that's not good.
Perfect.
Going for the paint. Stop the cat from going for the paint.
All right.
Sorry,
so,
I thought I was being quiet there.
I particularly what I liked again was that this is the most human that we've seen Giorgio be. It's like she finally has come to terms with who she's become, the change in her own character, her own identity, and the end with Burnham, I think Prime Burnham, that was, it's like we knew she was leaving, but at that point it's like, I don't want her to go. You know, but you know, it was a wonderful send off. In general, the whole episode was really about, honestly, about Giorgio finding, you know, really not coming to terms with who she was and how this Prime universe has changed her identity. And this was a true Star Trek episode in every sense of the word. And it was done again. It's again, I'm back to my feeling on Discovery. Discovery does best when they're not trying to Star Trek 2009 the shit out of things. I love visual effects as much as anyone else, but when they really take their time to focus on these characters like this is when this series really shines. And they've done a very solid job of it so far this season in general. And I continue to say this is the best season so far. But this episode knocked it out of the park. I find it very difficult to find anything wrong with this episode. Is where I stand. But of course, the callback to the Guarding the Forever, that booming callback, it made every hair on the body stand up, including in Mamusu. So yeah.
Wait, that's Moose?
I don't know what he is. Reindeer Moose. I can't tell.
It has. Well, those are Moose things.
Well,
but,
yeah, they're. I mean, aren't reindeer?
Oh, Jason!
What does that mean?
Hufflepuff.
That's the horse. That's how Sean gets sorted into.
Oh my God, we're losing it here, people. Okay, well let's jump over to Travis and Lane and find out where
Harry Potter reference.
Yes, it's a Harry Potter reference.
Okay.
Harry Potter Christmas. That was excellent.
Almost.
You all suck. You all suck.
You know,
I know, definitely.
Oh, you
Suck.
don't.
Anyway,
I mean, I know I suck, but I'm not going to talk about it on air. Jesus.
Come on, let's get on with it, or I'm going to have to start fawning all over Lane again.
Shut up. You suck.
Travis, your thoughts.
Your
My
thoughts, Travis,
thoughts.
yes.
My thoughts. You guys all. That's my thoughts.
Apart from
I
that,
thought, like, as far as the episode is concerned, a lot of discussion today, like, one of the things that popped out to me was that as far as Star Trek two-parters go, there tends to be a lot of, like, first parts that are super great, but the second part is eh. And people seem to be getting an opposite reaction with this two-parter, and I'm in the same boat there. With some of the revelations, I didn't scream when Carl said who he was. Full disclosure, it was very much like, okay, so that's who he was. But then again, I'm not a very big emotional guy there. But at the entire final scene with Giorgio and Burnham and their departure, their final moment together, I was that close to tears. This is like that scene alone is one of the reasons I am like really looking forward to the Section 31 show right now. I have long been a defender of Giorgio's character. I have long said I am really looking forward to seeing how her character is explored in this Section 31 show. And I've had people come at me like, why are we getting this show about this Terran Emperor who is a genocidal, cannibalistic, like just someone who is anti-Star Trek? And just this episode alone, seeing how she has come from this person who has said, don't you bow before your emperor, to someone who is trying to get the empire to go for peace. This is why I am looking forward to just seeing her character go even farther. Like, God damn it, like, I will defend this character to my grave. She is just great. I love Giorgio. I'm slobbering over myself right now. So
Sapiovore is the word you're looking for, not cannibal.
You know what I'm trying to say.
Yes. Thank
No,
you.
she doesn't eat she doesn't eat humans.
You know what I'm going for. I don't. You know what? I'll throw a Giorgio quote at you right now. A fancy vocabulary doesn't mean you're scary. It means you have a thesaurus. Travis out.
I'm just okay. Let's swing over. I always love when we get to Sun because she never fails to entertain me with her point of view. So, Sun, how did you like Terra Firma Part 2?
I was right. It didn't matter. We weren't doing tapestry or any of that other crap. It didn't
It did matter though.
I think it did.
It was
matter.
just a test.
He said it did matter.
Mattered for her is what it mattered.
We
for.
have
didn't-
so many cells.
The whole conversation last week was about whether it was tapestry
Right,
or
right.
all good things, or whether it mattered or not. It didn't matter because the whole conversation was whether or not the changes would stick. It didn't matter.
Well, there are some alternate perspectives on that that I've been reading over the last day, in which the changes did stick, is the theory, but it became an alternate timeline. So not something that we see manifest in the timeline we know, but that did affect that new timeline. And I like the thought of that actually because of the seeds that you saw Giorgio plant in this episode, particularly around Saru and the Kelpians. And we know that the Kelpians can be very fierce warriors once they go through their Vaharai, and we saw some of the Kelpians defending her in that big melee towards the end of the episode. So I'd like to think that it does matter somewhere, somewhen.
There's always the possibility that
Let's finish and then let's talk about it.
Yeah.
So the only thing that really bothered me about this episode, I mean, why Carl? especially when you can spell Carl with a Q at the beginning.
That's exactly why they did it. I guess really the only answer to that would be why not?
It was Carl from The Walking Dead. That's what it comes down to. There you
Coral.
go. Coral.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus.
What is this? Finding Nemo?
Now, haven't you seen those memes of Rick talking to Carl and he calls him Coral?
He's
Never mind.
You've never seen that? 'Cause that's how his accent is. That's
Coral.
Oh,
Coral.
God.
I can't.
that's a different podcast, folks. Okay, so let's. Were you done, son?
Oh yeah, no, I'm
Okay,
pretty much
okay.
done.
Then let's hear from stalwart producer Justin.
I mean, I loved it. I know I say I loved it every week, but I mean, it was nice to have the Mirror Universe a story arc. I was right to wait until this one to rate it all together because it really, for a two-parter, they done this quite well. And I agreed with Travis on it. Like sometimes they'll have two-parter where the first part is kind of like but the second part, this is better. But this really, both parts kind of just tied together so well. And I have a theory along with Ross of where Giorgio ended up. I don't think it's in the Prime universe, but we'll see what happens.
Okay, well, we'll hear from you in a bit
We'll get
about
to that later. Yeah.
Indeed. Okay, I think we got everyone. Yes. All right. Let's talk first about. This is our second go round in terms of episodes in Discovery, in which the Mirror Universe was prominently featured. Is it being done to death? Did it work for you? Should we have more Mirror Universe? Are we done? Should we be done with it for a while? What do you think?
I think we're done with the Mirror Universe in Discovery. Like, what's the character said that the Prime and Mirror Universe have diverged so far that the crossovers haven't happened in hundreds and hundreds of years.
Yeah.
And when, can I say it? Or,
Go for it.
When the Guardian said, "I am the Guardian of Forever." Such a beautiful reveal. That's the door exploding and reforming into that gateway, at least 3 times larger than it was before. So Giorgio doesn't have to jump, to duck and hop through the gate to go through. Excellent touch, I thought. He said that he was sending her back to a time when the Prime and Mirror Universe weren't so far apart.
Right.
So I'm just going to say it right now. She's in DS9. That's what I think. She's in where by far the most Prime and Mirror crossover events happened that we know of was during DS9. And when did we first find out about Section 31? DS9. What period of Section 31 storytelling is really in need of the most retconning and changing? DS9.
I actually love your theory. I love it. I love it. It makes sense. It is not fan wanky.
Nope.
It makes perfect sense, because if they send her back to the 23rd century, we've been there already.
And we're going to be back there. And we're going to be back there again.
Yep.
In Strange New Worlds.
Right. Exactly.
But how do we get Voke back, or how do we get Tyler back? Because we really need Tyler back.
Do we though?
Well,
I think we'll see Tyler in Strange New Worlds again.
Let's remember that Tyler is actually physiologically a Klingon, and they are very long-lived.
So,
Granddaddy Tyler. I can get behind that.
I think it's more likely we would see Tyler in
Strange New Worlds.
Yeah.
I guess they never really came out and said with the Section 31 show when it would take place. We just we just assumed because, it was Giorgio that it would take place in the 2250s, which now this throws it all into chaos here with that theory, because they can put her anywhere they want, and I really would love to see her in the DS9 era. That would be outstanding. Could you imagine bringing William Sadler back to play Sloane?
Or bring back Paula Meany to be Smiley.
Oh, hell yes, exactly.
I have a total George theory.
Okay, lay it on us, Justin.
All right. So they sent her back, but they sent her back to the Mirror Universe that she altered for the Kelpians and everything, because that, they sent her back to a point where they're close together. He sent her over to the Mirror Universe to keep everything from falling apart so they do not diverge.
Well, here's the thing. Since Justin has become the new George, I'm going to actually give this some credence, because as we've discovered, George is a fucking prophet.
Okay, wait a minute. George was right about many things. He was wrong about many more. Now,
George is not a prophet. George knew Favreau. He was just off on his timing.
Prophets are often off on their timing. Look at Nostradamus.
Well, this ain't Star Wars, so.
We'll get
Or
to that.
DS9,
We'll
yeah.
get to that.
Okay, so Ross, you brought up Smiley. I'm thinking they're not going to bring her back. She's going to be in the prime timeline, not in the mirror universe.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm trying to understand the whole Smiley thing.
Because it seems at least the most crossovers between the mirror and prime universe were during DS9.
Right.
Okay.
Smiley was crossing over all the time to try and get information from Starfleet to get an edge for the resistance in the mirror universe against the Alliance.
But we've seen that era already.
Oh my God! I just had a brilliant theory.
And we've seen TOS already.
Oh, but my God, what if Section 31 was waging a Cold War within the mirror universe from the Prime universe?
I think
Holy
that's
shit.
exactly what was going on.
Holy shit. I mean, seriously, how the
That's
hell
why
did
Section 31 missed so much.
Right. How did Smiley get the fucking plan to the Defiant? How did he get those? I mean, it doesn't even make any sense. Wow. You have blown my mind.
Like I said, the Section 31 was envisioned during DS9, and what we got from them was a bunch of mustache twirly bad guys highlighting the dark side of Starfleet that no one really know about, that no one really cared for, and really just kind of skewing what Section 31 became eventually in Enterprise and Discovery.
Okay,
31 seen as a more positive entity rather than mustache twirly bad guys.
Right. Think about this. Okay, think about this. They announced about a month ago that that new Star Trek series are going to be taking advantage of the volume technology. That's the technology used in the Mandalorian. Okay, imagine this, if you will, that we get DS9 done in the fucking volume. Holy shit, that's going to be amazing.
Wow, he just.
I mean, okay. We don't know how Section 1 got their advanced technology in Deep Space Nine. What if it was because Giorgio stole stuff from the future?
Dude, this is
what we saw in Discovery, that Section 31 had more advanced technology already. They had the tap badges.
Yeah.
And Greg, I'm not saying that Section 31 in DS9 was entirely bad.
No, I love Section 31.
There was a lot
DS9.
to be desired in how they were presented.
Right.
Well, wait. Section 31 in Deep Space Nine engaged in biological warfare.
Yeah.
Like they were trying to exterminate the founders utilizing biological warfare. There's nothing good about that. Like let's make that clear.
Cisco in DS9 engaged in biological warfare.
All right.
Sit down.
Off track here.
No, we're not. We're perfectly on track. It's actually
Okay,
a valid point.
But here's the thing: is that again, this is what makes Section 31 so compelling, was this notion of the ends justifying the means, and especially in times of war. And how poignant was it, and how ahead of their time was that idea that preceded the War on Terror? I mean, seriously. I mean, when you think about it, Deep Space Nine was so ahead of its time on addressing those issues.
Right. Well, I mean, and you think about like Paradise Lost and those episodes where, basically Starfleet, was willing to turn to fascism to protect Earth.
Right. I mean, look, here's the thing. I have a theory about In the Pale Moonlight that I've been going over, and I'm eventually going to write this all down. My theory is that Section 31 is responsible for Beta Z being taken over by Dominion. That's my theory on that.
Why?
I want to see this theory on my desk tomorrow morning.
Well, seriously, because when you look at it, it doesn't make any sense. The one fleet that was supposed to be protecting them is off on training missions in the middle of a war. It doesn't make any sense. And all while at the same time, Cisco and Garrick are engaged in this plot that was approved by Starfleet to get the Romulans into the war.
You're forgetting one very important thing here.
Okay.
Changelings aren't real. The Dominion War never happened.
Oh my! I think you're on the wrong show, sir.
What was that? What if that was the clue? Lower Decks tease in Section 31.
I think, but what this discussion is telling me, okay, this tangent we've gone up about Section 31, which is appropriate for this episode, is that there is so much that can be done with Section 31. I love the idea now. I was never excited about it before. I was like, okay, that'll be it.
Hey,
Now,
Greg doing it now.
think of this, Sean. You know, if they said it in that timeline, we can see Deep Space Nine. We can have freaking older versions of the characters show up, depending on when it's placed.
Right.
I mean, oh my God, we can see a DS9 in 4K.
I would love to see DS9 in 4K. DS9 is my favorite Star Trek series, but I can't really say I'm holding my breath for it,
You know,
sadly.
they would have to bring back Nog. You know, if they can do the
can't.
de-aging.
They can't.
They can do
He's
de-aging.
dead.
They can do
Oh,
de-aging.
You know how much that
Justin,
costs,
stop and think
Justin?
about that for a second.
Yeah, because I mean, they do de-aging. We just saw what happened in Mandalorian.
You
How
can't do
well
aging
they
on
do it.
someone who's passed.
I think
We do Peter Mimi all day long.
I think the problem with that, I think if you're going to do that, you can't. I think going to Nog is getting a little bit too deep in the weeds, as they say.
Yeah.
Because at that point, if this does take place in the Deep Space Nine era, the problem with that is that you have to keep it. It has to be relevant to the actual Section 31 story. Bashir makes sense. Garrick makes sense. Cisco makes sense. You know, players like that make sense. I don't see how Nog plays into that. That would be my only thing about that. But you know, because I think once you start going down this road of so many characters for what is a Section 31 show in the Deep Space Nine era, that's connected into the Dominion War, it just becomes chaotic.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you also run into the problem that we know how things turn out.
Right, exactly.
So it does tend to leach a bit of the drama out of the premise of the show, unless it's literally set in a different, it has nothing to do with the Dominion War, and which is what I think would need to happen, because we know what happened to the Dominion War.
But you can't set it. Then if you're not going to do the Dominion War, then you can't set it on Deep Space Nine.
Well, I'm not saying Deep Space Nine on the station. I'm suggesting Deep Space Nine, the era.
That's what I was
but
saying.
my point is, if you're doing it in that era, you have to do the Dominion War.
Well, yeah,
I'm saying just
that's my
after.
point.
But it doesn't.
What better place for Giorgio than to be in the middle of the Dominion War?
Yeah, I mean that's
Because we've already seen it. We've already
seen part of it, and the majority of it was off screen.
Yeah, that's
we saw
Wait,
all of the most consequential battles of the Dominion War.
Wait, here's the thing. What if Giorgio is the single reason Starfleet intelligence wasn't involved in the Romulan Obsidian Order execution of the founders that completely fell apart?
Perfect.
No,
Perfect.
I want.
I just have a hard.
I don't want it to be during.
Yeah, I'm with Jason on this one.
You know, if
I want her.
What do you want to see?
What do I want to see on the Section 31 show? I want it to be like a kind of like set in the 23rd century with Ash Tyler, them kind of taking on these covert missions for the Federation, doing things that are questionably necessary in that era. Like it doesn't matter the era, because I mean it should be like a Mission Impossible. Every week is a different story of them doing something different, dastardly planned thing, and so, I mean something that we haven't seen in Star Trek before. That's what it needs to be.
Well, go ahead. I'm sorry, just to let you know. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, like I don't want to see the Dominion. I don't want to see like rehash of other plots that we've already seen and that we already know about. I want to see something new and something unique. What's made these Star Trek shows so cool, and why we can have so many of them, is because they're all different. They all present their own concepts, and so rehashing the past with the Dominion War, I don't think it does that. I don't think that doesn't make me excited.
Do you know what I think would be a perfect spot for her? And this would actually tie into Picard. That whole gap in between Nemesis and Picard.
Yeah, because
that would be interesting, because it hasn't been covered, and there's a whole history in Picard of like espionage and things we don't know about that brought them to where they are. So I think that would be a clever era to put that in.
Yeah, because I mean, they could basically sidestep canon to a point that
Well,
way
they
by
could-
placing it in an open book.
Well, yeah. And the other thing about this too is that David O'Neill, before he called you fat today, Carlos, exactly. He brought up a point that how come nobody knows about Giorgio 900 years in the future if she went back to the past? And my claim on that, my response to that was simply Section 31.
Oh
And-
shit!
But the thing about it, the Section 31 thing is that we know that there were records kept during the Pike era. The Romulan War would be a wonderful place to.
That would be a great, actually,
Yep.
because we've never seen it.
We were
But
supposed
we
to.
also
We
come
were,
to the same problem that Jason was talking about. We know how it ends.
Well, sure, but we don't know how it happened.
Right, because the problem,
Like-
the saying we know how the Romulan War ends is like saying that we know how that after watching A New Hope we know how the Clone Wars end. Specifically,
but throwing up but going to Romulan War is just going to make me hate Enterprise that much more.
well,
How
you know
about
what?
you?
You know what, Jason? Since they blew up the Razor Crest just to spite you, they'll probably do this just to spite you too.
Did you notice, by the way, that in the opening recap of The Mandalorian, one of the first things they showed, yet again, was the destruction of the Razor Crest?
That's just a dick thing to do. I don't understand that.
Because it had nothing to do with this
With
episode.
anything, nothing whatsoever.
Well,
So,
it's already put together, Jason.
Last week there was a discussion about whether or not it would be, whether or not people would be able to look at the donut and go, "Oh, that's cool." Well, it kind of happened this week.
Yeah,
The
the
donut.
Guardian. The Guardian.
Yeah,
Oh, the Guardian.
yeah, the Guardian itself. Yeah, it's like they made the donut cool.
They
Yeah.
did, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I'm starting to. I'm actually of the opinion that I don't think it matters where they put it. That the writers have found their niche in general, and they're in a groove right now, and I think we'll be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
No matter what they do with it. I mean, this is all fun for speculation purposes, but I think
As long as we get Clem Fandango back.
There you go.
Well, I mean, Sean, you bring up a good point because I mean, now they got their groove. The writers have done really good lately. I mean, they still have hiccups here and there, but that's to be expected. It's been a lot better than when they first started.
Yeah, I think it's starting to be. I've always felt with Star Trek that Star Trek is better when it's character driven as opposed to event driven, and I think they're really starting to do a good job of really trying to get this with characters. So yeah, it's going to be. I think we're going. Like I said, I think it's going to be whatever they do with Section 31. I think it's going to start on a strong note. So.
Okay, so let's move back to the events in this episode, and let's talk about the Guardian of Forever for a little bit, because of course it was a huge. Are you going to say it's been a long road getting from there to here, Greg? Because that would be so
Don't.
wrong.
Do it.
It's been a long
Got enough long
road.
road.
Getting from there to here. It's been a long time.
But my
God is finally here.
Okay,
There it
Justin.
I will
There's a-
see my dreams come alive at last.
There's
Ross can do it.
I will touch the sky.
Shut up. Alert. Shut up. Alert.
No,
There is a
Well
special-
done, Jason.
No.
There's,
Justin.
Well done, Justin.
there's
Well
a
done.
special place in hell for every single one of you. I'm just saying.
Here's something, though, if we are talking about Enterprise. Enterprise still has the best Mirror Universe opening credits.
Without question.
Those
Yep.
were the best. This sort of
Yeah.
reverse, turned around, upside down thing in this.
It was
in-
cheaply done. It was
Well,
like,
it was just-
it was a different take.
yeah, it was a
And
different
it's
take.
consistent with the art direction for a lot of the Mirror Universe stuff.
Yeah,
The globe of Earth for Discovery's Mirror Universe is flipped
It's a mirror.
upside down.
yeah,
And they inverted the colors. That's why it was all blue.
yeah. No, I mean,
it was
fine. It is not
but it wasn't as elaborate as the Enterprise.
Yeah, the Enterprise one was brilliant. It was brilliant. And of
Mm.
course, their Mirror Universe episodes
were brilliant.
were brilliant. The only thing I didn't like about the Enterprise Mirror Universe episodes is literally we had no kind of crossover or anything from the Prime Universe other than the Defiant itself. But
which is in the Mirror Universe, right?
But I mean, character-wise, like, because most of the other Mirror Universe episodes, including Deep Space Nine, were very character-driven, and this one, you know, with our characters from our universe, and this one wasn't. But you know, that was a minor thing. It was still a brilliant episode.
And the best
I
part
didn't like the Enterprise Mirror Universe episodes because the Enterprise Mirror Universe episodes reminded me too much of the original series Mirror Universe episodes, where everybody was just a mustache twirling villain. Discovery, Deep Space Nine, you have, like, even though they're evil, right? They're the evil counterparts. They at least have like motivations and reasons, and you know, yes, it's through yes, it's through fear, but I just, you know, nothing about the way Jonathan Archer acted seemed natural to me. He just seemed like Scott Bakula playing to be bad. I hated it.
Well, man, hold on.
The only good episode of Enterprise was These Are the Voyages.
No.
Okay.
Stop it.
Jason,
when the hell did you become our contrarian?
Here's the only
Yeah,
problem.
really, son.
Scott Bakula didn't play the Prime Universe Archer well. That was the problem for that entire series. And this was and I'm not, look, I love Scott Bakula. I said it before, I said it again. I love Scott Bakula and everything he does except for Enterprise. And I thought he was horribly miscast, and he was just dull throughout.
I don't think he was horribly miscast. He was horribly written.
He was horribly written. He was horribly written.
I mean, I guess I don't see him being horrible. I just think that he just.
Well, that's really a debate for another time.
Yeah.
So let's.
So the I don't know why there was this whole sticking point between Burnham and Georgiou and the people on the art planet, because like the most villainous thing you could do would be to let one of those people survive. That way, not only do you have a remaining artist, the prices go up because they're even rarer now, and you control the one person that makes the art, and you can sell it for however much you fucking want.
Well, yeah, that's true. That really wasn't well thought out, was it?
You know, it was
all about the immediate cruelty and the most significant reward.
Right.
That's all that was.
But it's immediate, exactly. They didn't think about the diminishing returns.
They didn't do that. But they didn't do that. Pressed on about is that the Empire isn't sustainable. The same thing that Kirk said during his crossover, that the Empire will fall out under the weight of its own fucking hubris.
Mm-hmm.
And that might be like, I'm kind of with Jason on this point in terms of just like I like the Enterprise Mirror Universe episodes are fine, but the one thing that I just never really cared about is that they just don't really have a point. They offer nothing to the grander. Grander picture of Star Trek.
Oh, you get subscribed to Enterprise.
But, yeah, I mean, like, I show a lot of tough love to Enterprise. The group knows this, and kind of going back to an earlier point, when Carlos was asking about if we are gonna like see the Mirror Universe again or whatnot. Like, I have long said on the show that Discovery is one of the big reasons that I give a damn about the universe, the Mirror Universe right now. No other show has fleshed it out or just like really given us a reason to really like get invested in it as Discovery has, whether like the show or not. I mean, just it's done a really good job with it, with just giving a new life to the Mirror Universe. And I personally don't really think that we're going to go back to it, and I'm okay with that. But I wouldn't mind going back in another show, perhaps. But cut away from me. I'm rambling. I've lost my train of thought. Go.
Okay.
Go.
If it comes back to you, just let us know. Okay, so.
So how clever was it that Burnham started killing a whole bunch of Georgiou loyalists to claim that they were her her dissenters.
It was the tactic she needed to employ in order to get close to the Emperor again.
Yeah.
Yeah, she only killed one traitor to Giorgio, and that was Detmer.
Are we
No, I
sure
mean, she
that
killed
the others-
Landry.
Yeah, Landry.
Killed-
Yeah. No, she definitely she needed to do whatever she could to get back into the good graces
Yeah.
of the Emperor, to earn her trust again, so she could get close and find the right moment to kill her.
But
Again.
Giorgio didn't know who the loyalists and the traitors were. That's the
I think
whole
she
point.
does.
She
I
did.
think she does. She figured it out. That's her thing. She figures it out.
Eyes and ears.
Not only
Saru,
that,
eyes and ears.
she still had both Killy and Oo to
Yeah.
and Saru.
And Saru.
People are going to
Plus-
say whatever they
plus
want. around
other
Saru.
Kelpians.
He's a worthless slave.
Yep.
Did anybody else notice like one of the cool things I really liked about this episode in terms of Saru is that if you remember from this first season, Michael Burnham gives Saru the name when he didn't have it. And Saru basically tells her, like, well, as slaves, we don't have a name and everything like that. In this episode, right before Giorgio returns to the Prime, she actually calls him by his name for the very first time. I thought that was actually a really cool, subtle way of showing like just how much she's changed. And like kind of like just that subtle way of showing like she really isn't like as Saru said, like, you're not Terran. And she may come from the Terran universe, but she doesn't behave like one anymore. And just a really cool little cherry on the top there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's talk about the other part of the show in which we learn a little bit more about the burn and the cause of the burn, thanks to Book and some Emerald Chain technology. I assume we're still where we were when we last talked about the Emerald Chain, in which they are an underwhelming opponent. Do you guys still feel that way?
Yeah, kind of.
I completely forgot about the B story in this until you brought it up.
Yeah, honestly, same
I mean,
here.
I
So
think it
little
took up.
time was given to it.
Christ, it was so really like 5% of the episode.
Well, they didn't. I mean, I thought that was really good. I thought I think it'd be really tempting to cut between the A and B stories in this episode, but remember the period of which Giorgio was in the mirror universe was 3 months for her, but it was only a moment in the Prime universe. So I think.
Did anybody else think of Contact in all that? The movie Contact?
Yes.
That's like 3 months.
Yeah.
She's like, then she was here for just a minute. It's like, well, look at the data on her wrist. There's 3 months of data here. It's like, yeah, Contact.
So it mattered.
But Star Trek also the Inner Light did the same thing. It did an entire lifetime in 25 minutes. So,
but that was but we knew that wasn't really going on, right? We knew that Inner Light there was something something going like.
I don't think it matters whether it was real or not. To be honest, I think it's irrelevant to the point of the story.
No, but my point is that by having the mirror universe portion of the story contained outside of the narrative that we see in the B story later on, that was, I think, the right storytelling choice.
Yeah, I agree.
It mattered to Giorgio, it mattered to the Guardian, and that's all that's important.
That's what I believe. I agree. I think that's what the bottom line of this is. It's like one of those things where we as fans, we tend to overthink these episodes, and this is one I think you should just let it understand that the journey wasn't important. It was Giorgio's experience on the journey, her self-realization on the journey. That's what was important, not whether or not this was real. These events changed the course of history in that mirror universe. It doesn't matter. What matters is terror in all of this. That's what matters.
And the realization that she has grown beyond who she was, that she isn't exactly Terran anymore. She isn't exactly Prime either. She is her own individual, shaped and changed by the experiences that she's had on one extraordinary journey.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's quite telling too, because that's honestly, Giorgio has a better redemption arc than Darth fucking Vader does. I swear, I really believe
Yeah,
this.
I agree. Did any of you happen to get the chance to watch the Michelle Yeoh interview in the Ready Room?
Not yet.
Oh, I want to know.
It's worth watching. They went long on it. Normally it's like half the episode. It's more like 2/3 of the episode. And Will Wheaton's just fawning over her in a good way, because she fawns over him. She was like, when she saw him as Wesley Crusher, she loved Wesley Crusher apparently. So it's a great interview, and she actually utters the words, "Giorgio will be back."
Yay!
Well, of course she will be.
Yes.
We know that.
I mean,
And how could you not fawn over Michelle? Come on.
Oh,
So,
I know. You're right.
This was her. This was her best performance in the series, and she's had a lot of good performances. This was absolute best. You noticed again that I have not called her Space Hitler once all season.
Travis, you were trying to say something.
That's right. You're the one who always called her that.
Yep.
Okay, Glenn.
Glenn.
Oh, what did Glenn say?
Wait, what?
Glenn, what's his name, in one of the ship posting groups calls her Space Hitler.
Oh, right.
Fuck Glenn C. Strathy.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, Jim, what do you have to say? I'm new here, lifelong second gen Truckee. I think the burn is crap.
We're not talking about the burn right now.
Yeah. Okay. So.
I mean, it's not fuel, and they've never said it was fuel. We've never.
Yeah.
It's the lithium has always been what controls the matter.
We covered this back in
Right.
several episodes ago.
Right, and if you've got, it's kind of like with a nuclear power plant. If you don't have those control rods working right, you're going to get a meltdown.
They use that lithium crystals as carburetors. If your carburetor,
We've covered this already.
Yes, we have
on.
covered this already.
Jim's new, so we'll straighten him out.
Straighten him out.
Yeah,
Straighten
no,
him out with a
I think
belt.
people can disagree about certain things, but I think it's important to be able to describe
Correct.
why you disagree. And I've always had a problem with people just say, oh, because it's bad writing, as if that is an objective way of talking, and it's not really. Like, you have to have reasons. Yes, thank you, Greg. Greg, you've been like really nice this week. He's always nice. But
wait. Can I say something though? This idea that the lithium's role has never really been really clearly defined. I mean, we can go back to the voyage home, right? Where it's these Klingon crystals, Captain. They're losing their, and as the Klingon crystals were breaking down, they were losing power. I mean, I get it. Over time, there's been more consistency of it kind of regulating the reaction, but this has always kind of gone back and forth. Go back to the original series. Dilithium was the power source.
Oh,
Let me tell you something.
And then you have the changing role of deuterium in Voyager. It's plentiful in one episode and a scarcity in the other.
Am I going to have to send you a copy, Ensign Beard Fest A, Stormtrooper Beard Fest A, a copy of the TNG Tech Manual?
It's still in print. It is still in print.
I have 5 copies of that damn thing.
Hey, listen. Put the horns away, right?
Antlers.
Put the antlers away. I'm not saying that we haven't gotten more consistency as time has gone on. I'm saying that through the history of Star Trek, there has been inconsistency in the role of dilithium. I get it. I had Mr. Scott's Guide to the Enterprise. I had the TNG Technical Manual. I'm just saying that when you look at like 60s Trek, 80s Trek, late 80s Trek, early 90s Trek, this stuff just kind of became more consistent as time gone on. It was very inconsistent early.
Right, which is, by the way,
you're talking about Star Trek, period.
Bingo, that's exactly what I was gonna say.
Well, I mean, but that's my point. Like this idea that canonistas bitch about things being inconsistent with Discovery, but the fact of the matter is that Star Trek has never been fucking consistent with itself.
That's correct.
That's exactly it. Right. It just becomes more consistent over time, and this idea that the writers aren't astutely aware of the preceding canon, the preceding continuity beforehand is inaccurate, to be
Right.
polite.
And the Discovery writers have shown that they're willing to go to material besides just the television for inspiration. I mean, the Guardian, as we see him, Carl's a far closer interpretation of the Guardian as envisioned by Harlan Ellison than the fucking glowing, stalking rock from the original series.
But they included the glowy rock in this episode.
Right, and what's interesting?
Yes, everybody wins.
That's exactly it. What's interesting about what they did with Carl is they stayed true to the original continuity of TOS while being able to present Harlan Ellison's original vision at the same time. It was a wonderful blending. It really was.
Hey,
So here's
who
the
else
thing.
Noticed the
Have
Star
you-
Trek Online sound effect whenever Carl the donut appeared?
No, but I don't play Star Trek Online. But let's talk about something that I think has been referred to in every single episode this season, and I can't help but think that we're going to go back to the Temporal Wars. There's going to be a time travel episode, and it's going to be back to the time of the Temporal Wars. They mention it every single episode, you guys.
Right.
Well, it was a very formative event of Starfleet.
Lots of things were formative events in Starfleet that aren't mentioned in every single episode.
Like
Yeah,
the
but you-
Romulan War.
But you also have to remember, you're talking about a not only a federation that exists, but an entire galaxy that exists now strictly because of a temporal Cold War, whose after effects the rest of the galaxy is now starting to feel.
Mhm.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing about another time jump. If you already heard them say too many
Not a
time
time
jumps makes people sick.
jump. Like they're not going permanently somewhere else. They're going to go temporarily somewhere else, like every other time travel episode in Star Trek.
Yeah,
Right.
but
And this is something that
Let's go season 3, episode 1.
this is particularly one part that kind of troubles me about this season of Discovery, especially if you're right, Carlos, is that the Temporal Cold War was the worst fucking part of Enterprise.
Of
It
Enterprise.
really kind of was.
And
it
it's-
really was.
it was. It was.
And-
Well,
stupid.
look, we've already had an episode where they redeemed the Guardian of Forever. Why not redeem the Temporal Cold War?
Well, that's exactly it. The
Wait,
Temporal War isn't-
wait. What was wrong with what did the Guardian Forever need redemption for?
It was an easy button.
What Jason just got through saying with the closer to Harlan Ellison's actual fucking vision.
Yeah,
I
but,
mean, that-
but
Oh,
even
well,
with-
that's
even
redeeming Harlan Ellison.
Right, exactly. Because that's widely regarded as the best episode of TOS, and even with the major changes to it. But I agree with Son on that point, in that the problem with the temporal Cold War in Enterprise is that it had absolutely zero resolution whatsoever, and it just didn't go anywhere. It was this big thing they created in the first season, and bled it into the second season. Just into a
And
damn
have you
thing.
guys seen the theory about David Cronenberg's character being Future Guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that theory, but they've said that
Different.
Archer was Future Guy.
Who said that?
Well, but they never.
One of the
Berman.
producers, Berman, yeah.
No.
Generic
Ragnar,
Future.
here's the deal, and here's why Enterprise sucked. This is why the whole thing sucked. It was awful.
Oh,
Was because
you guys, this is just
listen.
another reason for Jason to be able to talk about how.
Jason, I sympathize with you.
they started that show with no conception about who Future Guy was.
You're absolutely right.
Bragdon
Like-
said that. Bragdon said we didn't have an idea. We just started writing. If you don't go into a story with a fucking plan, it's going to be shit, and that's what Enterprise was.
I mean, like,
But
I
before.
actually touched on this yesterday in the antagonist countdown when I was talking about Anorax from Voyager. I very much said, like, this is the guy that the temporal Cold War are kind of really needed, instead of generic shady future man, generic Nazi alien guy, generic orb constructor alien dudes. It was just like, there's a reason why on my countdown there was absolutely no Enterprise antagonists. They all sucked.
There was a resolution to the temporal Cold War. Archer defeated the Space Nazis in alternate 1943.
Yeah, but was that-
Or
was it-
46, yeah,
Yes.
46.
I guess. Yeah. Golf clap. Okay, so we need to move on to Mandalorian because there's a lot to talk about there as well. So let's wind up with a quick round the table rating now for, if you don't want to, well, for the two parts of the episode. So let's start with Travis and Lane.
You know what? Screw it. I'll give it a 9 off the hip.
Oh wow. Lane,
He agrees. Why not?
he agrees. Why not? Okay, Son.
I also give this a 9.
Okay.
And considering I withheld my vote from last week, so this is a altogether 9.
Correct.
Yeah,
Okay.
same here.
All right, Buck Naked.
I'm giving the two-parter a 10. This is the only time I've done this, and I think in 3 years. And the reason why, first of all, the second part exponentially raised the quality of the first part. I honestly was going to give it a 7.5 last week, but bringing this whole story together like that made the first one so much better. Overall, I'm giving this a 10.
It's also a better soft pilot than Assignment Earth.
Is it though?
No, it really is. It is.
No. I'm not
Yeah,
sure about
because
that.
I have a really
no-
special affinity for Assignment Earth. I love
I
Assignment
do too.
I kind of dig that one
but-
too.
Yeah,
Hey,
me too.
We had an entire
And-
season worth of a soft pilot for Strange New Worlds.
That's
Good
true.
point. Ross, let's go to you then.
5 out of 5 miniature paint bottles.
Whoa, that's a lot of paint bottles.
We gotta
This is
stop
like
it.
this is a tiny fraction of my collection.
I'm sure.
Guys,
Stalwart,
you're
Stalwart Justin.
A
This whole
10.
box right here is
Oh.
full of paint bottles. As you,
Wow, look at that.
Check out Greg's rating. I love it.
Oh wait, what was it? Put it back up.
8.5 out of 10 hungry baby Grogus.
Oh, Greg!
there was so much to love about this episode. There was so much to love about what Michelle, her acting, everyone's acting, the resolution, the reveal of the Guardian. That was just absolutely spectacular, and the many manly tears wept at Giorgio's departure.
Yep.
Yeah, the only some of the reviews that I've read took that last scene to task because they're saying that that was more about saying goodbye to the actress than it was about Giorgio as a character, because she was really fucking mean to them.
Yeah, but they talked about that at the memorial.
Yeah, but I liked it, so don't get me wrong. But I see their point, which is
Well, how did Sarah describe her? She was she was honest, punishingly so.
punishing her.
Yes.
So, yes.
Michael's first words about it, she was a pain in the ass.
You know what? Honestly, when you think about it, I think Giorgio would have made a great first officer for Saru. I mean, when you think about it.
A bit of a step down for her, but
Yeah, that would have from
Right.
emperor to first officer.
Right, but I mean, you think of qualities. I mean,
Okay, we need to move on because we've got a whole Mando thing to talk about. Beard Fussé,
5 out of 5 badges.
5 out of 5 badges. Very nice. That's equivalent of 10. I'm just going to weigh in quickly. I'm not going to give it a perfect 10. There were some minor flaws, but not a big one. I'm going to give it a 9.5.
Jim is right.
Did Justin give a score?
Yes, he did. Didn't you? I called
Yeah,
him.
he did. He
Yeah,
gave it a
yeah.
10. He gave
Yeah,
it a
give
10.
it a 10.
10.
He gave it a 10.
Overall rated. I don't think I rated last week.
All right. So next week, apparently they start where they left it off. They're finishing up the memorial service. And we had the return of Gray too. Gray came back. But we can talk about that more next week.
And Jet Reno.
And Jet
Jet
Reno.
Reno.
Yay!
Gotta love Jet.
We
Oh, by the
do
way,
indeed.
Polaric energy distribution. That's interesting.
By the way,
Yeah,
did you hear about Jet Reno? About the actress that plays her? Am I completely drawing a blank? Who's the actress that plays Jet Reno?
Tig Notaro.
Thank you, Tig Notaro. She basically said that with her, there's a reason why we don't see her in every episode.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's only there part time.
Right, she doesn't want to do it. She doesn't want to make it her full time gig.
She's the Whoopi Goldberg of the series.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
it kind of made it really, and it makes sense, and I dig that because it's that we don't have to worry about her never, like, if we miss her for a couple episodes, like, oh, she's never coming back. No, she's just not there all the time. That's
What's
Yeah.
great
And
about
Appreciate her
by the
when you
way,
see her.
It looks like
Exactly.
Mary Mary Wiseman and her husband and a bunch of them are actually doing a bunch of podcasts. So we need to look into maybe.
Yeah.
trying to
Mary
get
Wiseman
them
is
on.
the sweetest lady.
I
on the planet, by the
love
way.
her.
Yeah, what's great
What?
about Discovery, and it's people call it a weakness, but they have such a large ensemble that like the background characters come back. And so like I know that people are like, well, we don't see enough of Detmer. Detmer's a background character. Like she's, and there's not many shows that keep these background actors coming back like that. But it creates.
I think she's a
better-
little bit more than background.
but she's like
She's supporting cast. She's
We've
part of the
gotten
supporting
so
cast.
much of her this season, though.
Yes, which
No, I
is
know,
needed.
I know, but like Oo and Nilsson and this is like what's his name from in like Scrubs, where you had like these recurring people who just continue to
It
come
is
back.
not
to the
fair
show.
to call them recurring. Recurring is a completely different pay grade.
Jet
in
Reno is
that
recurring.
Jet Reno is recurring.
Mhm.
They are supporting cast. They are in virtually every episode. Their parts are small.
Yeah.
So, but your point, that doesn't take away from your point. I mean, your point is correct that there can only be so many stars, right?
Share this, Justin.
What are we sharing?
The picture I just set in our Facebook chat.
Is this what I think it is?
I don't know.
Is it going to elicit a stop it? That's what I'm hoping.
I hope not.
No, this was amazing.
Yes.
This was amazing.
Mary, you got it up
This
here,
is-
Justin?
Hold on, let me.
Come on,
You're muted, Justin.
show it.
Yeah, it's not loading. Hang on.
Aw.
Load faster.
Hold on, I got it, Justin. If you don't,
Thank you.
Oh, I see. Oh, yes, you showed us that before.
I don't know if I showed it on the show, but I mean,
I think
Mary
you
was-
did, actually.
She was so much fun. I told her, I said, do me a favor, put on here. If we got it up yet? No, we don't got it up yet.
hold on.
Yeah. You got it?
I got it.
I'll hail the biscuit. And speaking of Mary Wiseman, how about that killy hair?
Nice.
Yowza!
So yeah, that was great. At STLV 2019, we had a running gag where we were going around taking a picture with a biscuit, and everywhere we went, I got a whole bunch of Star Trek celebs taking a picture with this biscuit I was carrying around. And if you guys have been following us on X Monitor, you get the joke. Regardless, so Mary Wise, I said, do me a favor, could you put on there "All Hail the Biscuit"? She goes, oh my God, what is that about? I said, it's an incredibly long, geeky thing that would take forever to do. She goes, I love it. I'm putting it down. And she just went with it.
She respects the geek.
Somebody
Yeah, absolutely,
was so
yeah.
mad about that. It was so hilarious.
Whatever
Oh,
happened to that biscuit?
It's in my freezer.
It's in in his freezer.
Is it really?
It's still there for the next STLV or
Yep, it
ST,
is.
wherever it is.
That biscuit is in stasis, my friend. That is ready to go.
It is the eternal biscuit.
It's the eternal
Oh
biscuit.
my-
Perfect. Okay,
I
let's
didn't
move on to
realize it was
Mandalorian because we're
actual-
running out of time, folks. Okay, so this was the season finale of The Mandalorian and called The Rescue, appropriately. And as we saw, same pattern as last season, it brings everyone back that the various guest stars we've seen throughout the season back for one
And
big battle.
you guys were so worried that we were going to be left with a cliffhanger.
You
We
were left with
were not.
tons of cliffhangers.
I was worried that we were going to
Luke
have a
is
cliffhanger.
back again. Luke is back again.
Damn it, he was right.
Okay.
Oh
Okay,
my God,
first
he
of
was
all,
right.
Yes, George was
Once
right.
again, he proves us
I-
wrong again.
The thing is, so I have to say this. When I saw the Guardian Forever reveal, I actually, because I was watching it like 2 a.m. So my house is very quiet. I couldn't stop. I went, yes, really loud when I saw that it was the Guardian of Forever. When I saw, even before I saw his face, when I saw that goddamn green lightsaber, I was like, it's fucking Luke. It's
Well, I
fucking
knew the X.
It's
Look,
the
here's the thing.
X-Wing was the dead kid.
The X-Wing was the
Yeah.
top.
Yeah, because I was talking to Sean before the show, and I was just like, I'm sitting here. It's 2:30 in the morning, and I shout whenever I see the X-wing pull up, and then you're like, "Oh my fucking god!" I told Sean, like, I know I pissed off some neighbors because I hollered it. I was like, "Oh my fucking god! Oh my fucking god! It's Skywalker!"
The slow matter of fact descent of that X-wing fighter to that hangar. I said, "Holy shit, it's Luke! Holy shit, it's Luke!" And I stood up and I was on my feet for the rest of the episode in awe. I screamed and I cheered. I said, "They're fucking doing it!" And I was crying because we talk about fan service on the show. And what I've realized with The Mandalorian, the Rise of Mandalorian, is that nothing is done for fan service. This was a perfect bookend to this story of Grogu. And
of who?
Of
Grogu.
Baby Yoda.
Grogu.
Yeah, and it was the X-wing. That was it.
Yeah,
And it brought it all together. And I don't know how they could have done something any better, but we'll get to that in a bit. Let's start talking about the episode from beginning to end.
Right. Okay. So let's do our round robin. How what we liked about this episode or didn't like about the episode. Let's start this time with Sunseal.
Okay. So I don't know how do I describe this episode other than this kind of feels more like a series finale than a season finale.
Interesting.
I mean, the way that they've titled everything in The Mandalorian so far, when you go to Disney Plus, is that it says chapter this, chapter that, chapter this, chapter that, and then that has a little subtitle that says like the rescue, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And what did we get with the post-credit scene?
The book of Boba Fett.
Right. Which will be, are we sure it's supposed to be a spin-off, or do you think it's supposed to be the next book of chapters of The Mandalorian?
It's the next one. Jesus, Jason, somebody mute him.
Yeah.
Why is he banging pots and pans in the background?
I
What's
have
going
no
on?
idea.
Oh my goodness. Hold on. Okay.
There we
Thank
go.
you.
Whenever you're ready, Jason.
Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead, son.
Well, I think it's supposed to be. I think the way that this is set up is that this is the end of the, sort of end of the Pedro Pascal arc of The Mandalorian, and the start of Boba Fett as the Mandalorian.
I think it's a little bit more than that. I think I don't think we're going to lose Pedro Pascal Din Djarin as the Mandalorian. I think that the new book of this volume is going to revolve around Boba Fett as well.
Right.
But because when you look at it, in that final scene, what do we see but Boba Fett sitting on the throne? And what happened 5 minutes earlier? Well, Mandalore just got a new king, Din Djarin.
Right.
Yeah,
So
but
here we
the only one who believes that Mandalore is like an actual planet they can go back to was just shot dead by Moff Gideon.
No, I mean they know the planet
not dead.
exists. It's just it may be in ruins, but the planet exists. And that's the thing. I'm not convinced Bo-Katan is dead either. And the reason why is because why go through jumping in front of the blaster shots like Din did if she was dead? She may be, but the reality of it is, whoever wields the darksaber.
He didn't jump in front of the blaster shots to save her. He did it to save Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda was on the other side. I don't know why do we think that? Baby Yoda was nowhere near.
Yeah, Baby Yoda was on the other side. He was jumping in front of the Bo-Katan.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure Gideon
It was
turned his blaster to shoot Baby Yoda.
He did.
Yeah.
And wasn't Bo standing at the end?
No,
Yeah, I didn't get the impression she was killed.
Yeah,
There would have been a
Oh my
bit
God,
more to
I
that if
watched
she
it
was
3
dead.
times, and I'm forgetting this scene.
Yeah, but regardless, at the end of the day, we have 2 kings now. We have 2 Mandalorian kings who are both one who is the king of his particular hill on Tatooine, and the other one who's the king of the Mandalore. So I think those stories are going to parallel and come in conflict with each other. When I say conflict, I mean they're going to converge. Not necessarily that these two guys are going to go at each other, but I think the stories are going to converge because there's serious threads hanging off of this. I mean, the Thrawn thread is still hanging off of this. The incubators, the fact that Moff Gideon came right out and said, "Hey, I don't need the baby anymore. I got what I needed. I got his blood." And what the hell happened with Pershing? I mean, what happened after that? Was we have a debrief of Moff Gideon that the New Republic has to do.
Also, that was one hell of an upgrade to the starship, from the Razor Crest to an entire Imperial light cruiser.
Light cruiser, baby. Yeah.
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 There's a lot more pieces in a light cruiser, so when they blow it up, it's going to be a lot more to build.
I was just going to ask you your opinion, Jason.
Oh,
so both the Mandalorians are standing. I don't know if you can see that. They're both standing in the background there.
Okay, so
Yeah,
she did survive.
Okay. Oh, you beat me to it. Okay.
Last thought, by the way, I was right. Dark saber versus spear.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we did that.
Yeah, no, that made sense.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Let's go to the Eyebrows of Doom. Ross, what do you think of the episode?
Oh, so much excitement in this. Seeing a whole platoon of Dark Troopers in action was chilling and scary and frightening. The one-on-one duel between Din and the one trooper was all kinds of exciting. We heard that they were the third generation, so that ties a bit more with how they appeared in Legends. That we did get a confirmation that once upon a time there was a human or organic element inside the suits. I'm assuming that the Death Troopers kind of tied into that. That there are apparently still more Dark Troopers out there. How after they got vented, they came back.
Yeah, that was cool.
Oh man, you think it's over? Nope, no, it's not.
I love that.
And just
great.
how those two in the front were just pounding away at the blast door. That whole scene that just built up the tension higher and higher, and you're wondering if they're going to survive. And
No. The dude that was literally just punching Din in the face into the wall.
The Beskar is
That was a good one.
incredibly strong. Holy shit!
I like that.
The bulkhead was taking more damage than the helmet, to say nothing about poor Din's head inside that helmet.
It must be like vibranium that it also absorbs all of the force that's being exerted against it, because there's a head inside of that helmet that is still vulnerable.
There's a
I mean,
YouTube.
the Dark Troopers were everything I was hoping for. The fight between Din and Moff Gideon was everything I was hoping for. Seeing that spear in action, and I got to say that the choreography was really great. Moff Gideon, although holding a powerful weapon, clearly didn't know how to use it very well, and his attacks were a lot more kind of slow and clumsy, while Din was spinning around that spear like a martial arts master, as he should be. Everything about this episode was just beautiful, and more manly tears were shed when Luke showed up, revealed his face, and we had that beautiful moment between Din and Grogu as they said goodbye to each other, and
Face to face.
and had another rather touching moment with R2.
I don't know,
More
R2
than-
seemed a
more than-
little
I think it was
back
more
on.
than touching. We were discussing about this before I'm sorry, Travis. Go ahead. I didn't want to cut you off. I'll go into that.
Adam sent me this photo over here. If I can put it up on the screen.
This is
Adam
what Greg
or
sent.
What Greg said.
And I gotta say, the only real downside to this episode was the uncanny valleyness of Luke's face.
Yep.
I mean, it's. I honestly, you guys were saying that you thought this was better than Rogue One. I thought it was slightly worse.
It was at least as bad, or at least as good.
Because when I saw Moff Tarkin in Rogue One, it seemed more natural than this. It was still clearly artificial, but this was very deep in the uncanny valley.
Yeah, I agree with Ross on that one.
I
That's,
thought
frankly why I thought they weren't going to do it, because
I think
thought
from
there
a
was just no-
from a still, right? If you just took a still of this episode, I think he looked much more real than what Tarkin did. I think the biggest thing that was uncanny was the lack of facial movement when Luke was talking. Like there wasn't a lot of expression. It was kind of more vapid, but I don't think it looked quite as Pixar-ish as Tarkin and Leia did in Rogue One.
Careful on what frontal shots of his face that they showed while he was talking. They're trying. I mean, they probably knew, so they probably chose their shots carefully, which they
did, but it still looked
bad, but it's better than what it's been. So you gotta give them effort for that one.
So wait a minute.
Holy crap! Were there a lot of loose ends for this? What's going to happen between Bo and Din? How is that going to tie into when they take Mandalore? We've still got Grand Admiral Thrawn out there somewhere. We've got Boba Fett supplanting the Twi'lek that was sitting on Jabba's throne. That was an excellent scene. I have expected him to open up. Well, I guess the Rancor is long dead.
The Twi'lek was actually the servant of Jabba before, though.
Yeah, he was.
Well, Thrawn isn't a loose end for the Mandalorian. It's a loose end for Ahsoka Tano.
True, but it's something that was talked about in the show. It's probably going to be mentioned again. But there, as definitive as this end was, there's still plenty out there for the story to continue to expand on, and that really excites me.
That's
I
true.
don't know if it's going to feel the same with
a baby
Grogu no longer in the picture.
Yeah, with no Baby Yoda, it's going to be different. That will be a challenge for them to get over.
But before I finish my comments, there is one question I want to ask, and I mentioned it before in the chat. What's going to happen to Grogu when Kylo Ren goes nuts?
Yeah, I
was thinking about that earlier, actually.
There's going to be Grogu.
We've still got about 10, 15 years.
More than that, like 20.
More than that.
20?
20.
Okay.
25.
We've got about 20 years. Grogu's already been around for 50, so he might actually grow up and start talking at some point in the next decade or so.
Sean shed his antlers, just so you guys know.
Yeah, I saw that.
So it is what was most on my mind after the Euphoria faded.
Yes, indeed.
Well, he's just going to become a yoga kebab.
No. It's like killing Daryl in Walking Dead. We're gonna riot if they do that.
Okay, let's hear from Justin. Stalwart Justin.
This is my angry face.
Whoa.
Which was now the ending. I mean, we all knew what was going to happen. I mean, as soon as we seen the X-Wing pull up and come in, we knew Luke was coming in. I mean, we knew it was Luke as soon as we seen the guy in the cloak. I mean, the lightsaber was all that good. It was all right. Yeah, the CG was crappy, but it didn't really take you out of the moment because you were so shocked by the fact that we seen Luke Skywalker, and then they bring in R2 fucking D2 out of nowhere.
It is not out of nowhere. It was on the X-Wing.
Yeah, but we didn't know he was going to be there.
Why wouldn't he be? He's with him
all the time. Why are we talking about
R2D2?
Because it's R2D2.
Why would Luke be there? I mean, we weren't thinking for sure.
We know why Luke was there.
We knew because I was going to show up, but we
because he was on Typhon. That's why.
Yeah, and it just made it so great, but. I'm thinking, me and John talked about this a little bit last night whenever we all kind of settled down after the show, that Boba Fett might be doing his own little thing for a bit. And we'll
you
see.
And your toys.
He has a lot of toys.
He has a lot of toys.
I have a question. Am I the only person here who did not think that Luke was CGI'd?
Yes.
It was very obviously CGI'd.
I thought it was a stand-in actor.
Well, it was. It was.
It was
a lookalike. So it was a lookalike.
No, it was someone who physically played the role, but the face was not that
They
actor's
probably
face.
just had him wear a green hoodie, and then they had a cloak on, and then they just digitally added the face later in post. I mean,
Yep.
I honestly thought it was a different actor who looked like a young Luke that they hired to play the part.
Well,
That's
No,
what I
it had-
thought at first, but it was pretty obviously.
So bad.
Yeah, the CGI was just so.
There are GIFs on Giphy that look better than that, and we know which ones we're talking
But
about.
here's the thing about it. But here's what you got to understand, okay? And Adam brought this up. He said, "How come a guy on YouTube can do a better job?" Because a guy on YouTube is doing it in low res. Number one, okay,
Right.
and it's not the same thing as putting it out there for commercial consumption. And it's this no. I'm sorry, deepfake technology is fun, but it's not there yet where it can be used in commercial applications. I think the best thing they did for this, because I didn't think it was, I think it's the best out of the, if you want to put the three up there, if you want to put Tarkin, Leia, and Luke up there, I think this is the best one I've seen yet. And where it kills it is the mouth movements when they start talking. And that's what sucks you into the uncanny valley part. The where it was smart to do is they did long shots on him. They didn't do they minimized close-ups, which is a smart thing to do. In fact, in some parts where he was talking, you see it from his perspective, looking at Din Djarin, so you don't see his face, which was the right thing to do. Minimize that as much as possible to if you
they did everything they could do, but it still looked bad.
It still leaked out. I mean, they tried to show him just not talking, but I mean, it was unavoidable and stuff. But they tried.
Well, what's funny about the Tarkin thing is that if you've seen the actor that they had play Tarkin, they should have just put him in makeup and let him be Tarkin, because he looked enough like
Peter Cushing.
Cushing to pull it off without a problem. But instead, they had to give him that rubber face instead, that CGI rubber face. But people were talking about, this is a big thing. Sebastian Stan should play Luke Skywalker. Yeah, they weren't going to do that. I mean, it would have been clever, but
no.
But I'm so willing to give that a pass, because I know they did the best they could with that, and for the purpose of telling this story, this is exactly what needed to happen. I had suspected all along that Luke would be the Jedi on Tython, and sure as hell he was. He just showed up a little late.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go next to Travis and Lane.
Why the fuck didn't or what's his face give little Yoda the ball? Why? Stop it.
I know why. I know why.
I know that we kind of touched base on this in the chat earlier, but here's I can't say my answer when Jason isn't here.
Oh, right. Well, okay, let's wait for him to come
back.
Okay,
I'll give you my explanation on why I think they did it. First of all, I think number one, it would have been overkill. Okay. Because what would happen because you already had the touching moments that they had during their entire separation scene. You had the lifting off of the helmet for him, which was huge because he's only done it one other time with Migs Mayfeld. Okay. You had
last season when he was dying.
For IG-11, right? But for in front of another living being, he had not done it before. Mm-hmm. And that was the whole rub with that. So, that was huge. And the other part of this was that, of course, he was crying at the end. His tears rolling up. So that would have been kind of overkill. I also think there's another part of this that we have to look at, and that the notion that their story is not over. And I think giving that shifter knob to him would have been a finality in that story. I metaphorically speaking.
I know how to answer that. But Jason needs to be here. Oh, here he is.
There he is.
Jason, know you can't leave. You make Travis very upset when you leave.
And Lane.
He was very distraught.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had to go get Chewie.
You had to go get Chewie? What did Chewie have to do with what? Or are you talking about the pet supplies thing?
No, I had
Whatever. Anyway,
Okay,
this
so,
is my response to that. You see,
Oh my
hi,
god.
dog.
Huge dog. It's a
So-
walking carpet.
All right, you have your helmet thing, which, like, a full disclosure, it didn't really like hit me as hard as it probably hit you guys. Maybe because I'm
Sorry, it's my wife. That was my wife sneezing.
gazoon tight.
Good tight.
Anyway, like full disclosure, the helmet thing didn't really hit me as hard as maybe it hit you guys. Probably because I kind of saw it coming, and after seeing it last week, it was just like, okay, you guys, like I get that it's emotion, like they're trying to be emotional. It didn't work with me. Like, just it didn't work with me. But here's what you do with the ball. You give it to Yoda, or what's his face?
Grogu.
I didn't call him Grogu.
Greg.
Good for you, Carlos. And
Thank you,
Greg.
Travis.
And this is what he says: "I'm gonna need this back because I'm gonna have to rebuild my ship because the Empire blew it up.
And we got to make Jason happy.
Blew it
Right.
up, and the fans, one dude, Valak, wants the ship back. So I'm gonna need this back eventually, and I'm gonna see you again."
Fan wank.
No, I'm actually. This isn't fan. This is just shit.
It's him shit posting.
No, there's a difference between shit posting and posting shit.
Well,
That was the latter.
Okay, well,
Maybe.
Stormtrooper Fasse, have you weighed in?
I had not.
Well,
The
then,
wife needed me to
take
get the dog. I loved this episode, and so did R2. So here he is.
Shut up, R2. Shut up, R2. You were not. You offered nothing to the story, R2. You were there just to be there. You offered nothing to the story.
Ooh, bitter.
No,
I
he
know,
did.
right?
He totally added to the story.
It was like the fucking
Wait.
candle ghost in the new
Wait.
Christmas Carol, the 3D Christmas Carol.
No. Listen. So okay. So Luke's there, right? And
Not that candle ghost.
get the fucking ghost candle down. I'm about to lose my shit. Okay.
Oh,
So-
again.
You pushing then?
This is like the fourth time this episode.
I know. You guys, this has been. Anyway, get that down. Anyway, so here's the deal. Grogu's there. Grogu doesn't know if he wants to go with Luke, and Din gets it at, and he says something to Luke, and Luke's like, "Well, he wants your permission." And even when he gives Grogu the permission, he sets him down on the ground, and Grogu still clutches him, still holds him, right? Like not wanting to let go until you hear a certain R2 unit beep and chirp. And he turns and he walks over to R2 and they have a conversation.
Yep.
So this idea that R2 didn't add anything. Yeah, exactly. You added stuff to this show. Yes, you did. The fact that this idea that R2 didn't add anything, he did. And Adam, you have it here. And I said this earlier in our private, in our Super Geeks chat we had with each other. R2 saved Grogu at the temple. When Anakin was off murdering younglings, for some reason R2 was able to save maybe some of them, but Grogu was one of them. And he trusted R2. And that's why Grogu would go off with Luke. This was one of the best fucking episodes of television ever made.
Yeah, and I will say this, and unfortunately, in order for R2 to save Grogu, Kenny Baker had to die because he had to get out of the middle of them. So that's unfortunate.
So that's my thoughts. Sorry, I didn't mean to go off on
There's
that
some more
tangent.
shit posting for you.
Okay. Who has
That's
to be
not
not?
shit posting. That's grave posting.
Have we heard from everyone? I think we have. Okay. All right. So let's talk about. Are we ever going to see Baby Yoda ever again?
Oh,
Yes.
Adam,
I
you
don't
were
know.
on fire tonight. Yes. Are we going to see Baby Yoda again? And is it going to be one shot or is Baby Yoda's?
We'll probably see Baby Yoda on the end of Kylo Ren.
So, do we have an idea of when Ahsoka actually takes place? There's a question for you. Are we going to get Ahsoka in this same era?
I believe it is in the same era.
Yeah.
Okay,
I have a feeling that we're going to see a time jump in Mando.
Oh, you think so?
It's possible. I predict that we will see, for you, Carlos, Baby Yoda on Ahsoka
Thank you.
before we see him again on
Mando.
Mandalorian. Not that he'll never be back, but I predict that there's going to be. I think there's going to be a connection between Ahsoka and Luke some way, somehow, and that Baby Yoda is going to be part of that.
What if the Mandalorian shows up with Baby Yoda on Ahsoka?
What?
Greg notes that Ashoka and the Rangers are set at the same time as Mandalorian, according to Favreau.
Okay, but
So-
does that tell us? Does that tell us it's at the same time as Mandalorian? That's the question.
Yeah, same. Yeah, it's
Okay.
yeah. That's what he just said.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed the second part of that. I thought it was said at the same time as each other. I get it. Sorry, Greg.
This is what I'm waiting for right here.
Yeah,
Yes,
me too. That
yes,
would be bad.
That should be.
I've seen some absolutely beautiful fan art of the conversation they have about Vader, about Anakin's last moments, and I'm hoping we see something similar.
Yeah, I mean, look. Here's the thing: Ahsoka really needs closure on that front. I mean, seriously. I mean, that's something that
She has issues.
Yeah, really, exactly.
Some internalized trauma.
Indeed.
Yeah, and I think
AR tube
this goes.
reset system.
Well, okay. Let's pause on that because we're running out of time, and I want to finish talking about this episode.
Reset system.
Let me ask you something. Given that this is the end of the season and presumably the end of these chapters of the Mandalorian
AR
stories,
tube.
what does the Mandalorian do without a Baby Yoda? Like in many ways, that character defined him.
Yeah, I mean,
And
like
now that
this is what I talked about. This is what I talked about a couple of episodes ago when we first met Bo. Is that if she's still alive at this point, then the whole setup for the next whatever the hell with the Mando is literally going off to do that, to take back Mandalore.
I think I addressed this in the second episode of the first season, that I have predicted that along the way there would be a story arc of Mando trying to bring about the rise of Mandalore once again, and I think that's where this is heading.
You're not the only one that did that. George did that as well.
Right. I know.
Yeah, that's one of the things we all thought about. If you got the dark saber, that would be
Right. And now George is big in the dark saber too. Exactly. Right.
We need to see Sabine then.
Yeah, Sabine would be a great
Very
addition.
happened
There.
this season.
Yeah.
And there is precedent for handing over the Darksaber. Sabine had it for a long time before she passed it on to Bo. And then
right, but you guys are talking lore stuff. I'm talking about this series and how it moves forward. And
That's my theory in this.
Well, yeah, but I mean, from a character standpoint, a dramatic standpoint, like, what do you do to round out this character of the Mandalorian? Like, now that he doesn't have Baby Yoda do that for him,
You think he?
I think the next step for Din is going to be reconciling the I don't know what the word would be, the breaks he's made from his creed,
from the way.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Because he's now revealed his face twice to what was his name in the last episode, and now to Grogu and Luke Skywalker and everyone else present. He's going to have to reconcile that breach of his faith, of his creed, to who he is.
I think it's more than that, though.
There are consequences to that, I believe.
Well, I think it's more than that. I think it's a matter of, at that very moment, because as Bo-Katan explained, whoever wields the sword is the true leader of the Mandalore. I think
the Mandalore
is the Mandalore. Okay, so I think the moment he takes off his helmet is when he abandons his creed and accepts his role, accepts that role. I think it wasn't just about showing Grogu's face. It was, and again, it's similar to Giorgio. It's a realization about himself. This is who I am now. This is that creed is not what's important. I have.
Well, and
go ahead.
Go ahead, Jason.
one thing I was going to say was, we were talking earlier and about this, and I didn't get a chance. Obviously Travis brought up his opinion on taking off the helmet, but in the last episode, we've seen his face 3 times in the series. One, when he was dying and he needed to be saved by IG-88 clone, IG-10 or whatever.
IG-11.
IG-11. He had to. It wasn't like an alternative. It wasn't something that he could get around. It's something he had to do. Likewise, in the last episode, there wasn't an alternative. What's his name wasn't going to go scan his face in front of his old boss, and if he didn't take his helmet off, he wasn't going to get Baby Grogu back. Only that, he was also going to be facing down a group of stormtroopers. So he took his helmet off because he had no alternative. In this particular episode, the difference isn't that he had to do it. It's that he was asked by Grogu to do it, and he complied. And that was a demonstration of like that fatherly love. I don't think we're done with the story of to your point, Carlos. I don't think we're done with the story of Din and Baby Grogu or in Grogu. I think that there may be a time jump, there may be other things that happen, but this story really is this is a father-son type story, and I don't think the story can continue without him, and I think he'll come back, and that's why he's not with Rey, or that's why he's not there to be killed by Kylo Ren.
I guess time will tell. Okay.
I think I gotta agree with the time jump, because that actually would make sense. I mean, what if on down the line we're seeing him in the way to rebuild Mandalorian, we see an older Yoda, older baby Yoda.
What if Grogu is the reason why Luke decides to kill Kylo Ren in his sleep? Aha.
Also, the other thing in this episode, the other thing that was really cool in this episode, Boba Fett is not a Mandalorian.
We know that.
Yeah,
Right.
he's a donor, or he's like
The armor still belongs to him.
Clone.
This is literally something George said like way back at the beginning. It's like there's like been this contention between every Mandalorian that Boba Fett's not really a Mandalorian.
But here's the thing: we kind of address this because Jango was a foundling. Jango fought in the Mandalorian Civil War.
Mhm.
Right. Just
So-
because his father was one doesn't make him the clone one.
Yeah,
But because the armor was given to him by his father, the armor is his by rights.
right, exactly. So
We
and
covered that.
Din Djarin seemed to accept this as you. Okay, then you are a Mandalorian, I guess. I mean,
Or
he's-
close enough.
Close enough, exactly. It was so
Close enough.
This notion that he's not a Mandalorian, it's like Boba Fett has always said, I'm just a simple man trying to make my way through the galaxy. He swears allegiance to no one, to no creed, to no state. So in that regard, but he's kind of like honorary. You know what I mean? I mean, if nothing else.
Yes, we've heard that before. Okay, so let's see. Are we ready for ratings?
Sure, why not?
All right,
Good.
let's begin our ratings.
Well,
And
before we do, I think I don't know because I haven't gone back to watch it, but I think there might be another one of those. Oh, hey, that's a thing you didn't notice before. During the Luke lightsabering and force crushing all of the droids, the very few frames that we saw of the face of the hood, it looked like whoever was in the getup was actually wearing a face mask, like during the shooting, because like there's this really white looking thing covering the mouth area. and it looks like a face mask. Honestly,
I didn't notice.
Yeah, I'll have to look. It was pretty
COVID,
dark.
probably COVID restrictions.
Yeah, COVID shooting.
It was,
Oh,
it was
God.
a mask. Yeah,
Oh,
it was a
God.
COVID mask.
I mean,
Okay,
you
let's
already
get started.
proximity to a bunch of droids, so
Well, we'll go back to the tape and see. Okay, let's start our roundtable ratings
9.
segment. Thank you, Justin. I guess we're starting with you. 9 from Justin. Eyebrows of Doom.
I've already done my gimmick for the night. I really don't have anything else prepared. I really like this one, so 2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. Okay, Travis and Lane.
Oh, I'll be controversial. I'll give it an 8.5.
Dick.
Ooh.
You ass.
You did.
Hey, you want an explanation? Like, I will provide explanation. Like,
We will have an hour.
I'm not gonna. Fuck you. Shut up.
Go you do that.
Like, if you want
Go ahead,
a
Travis.
brief, like, one of the things that I just didn't really care for is that there's just a few things that I just found too predictable when it comes to this episode. I like surprises. When I call the shots, they just don't really give me the emotional hit that they should, or what the writers are going for. Plus, if I'm being completely honest, that entire last credit, the way they ended it, I was just like, good God, stop it. You know, just like
Oh, you don't like
the way
Omar?
they have Boba Fett pose thrown. I was like, okay, the fanboys, I'm sure, are giggling at this. I personally just don't care. But
Two. Game mode.
8.5. Lane likes it more
8.5.
than I do.
Oh, is a full 9, Lane? Yes. Okay. Excellent. Sean, Buck Naked O'Halloran.
I give it 9 dubstepping Death Troopers and 1 fat Bib Fortuna, so for a total of 10. I mean, honestly, the dubstep music for the Death Troopers was amazing, and of course, Fat Bib Fortuna. It just kind of rounded the whole thing out for me. Now,
Literally.
Surprised Fat Bib Fortuna isn't some
You know, and I wouldn't even known about the post-credit scene. I mean, I was just still sitting there in shock from the end of the whole thing, and then the post-credit scene came up. I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, I thought something was weird just because it was just black, credits over black instead
there
of.
wasn't any concept art.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like
Strange.
something's up.
yeah, right.
I-
And not only that, if you're watching on Disney Plus on a TV app, for example, it didn't immediately go into the lower corner with
Right.
telling you to watch the Clone Wars now, which it does for me every damn time.
It does afterwards. It does.
Same.
Right, exactly.
Watch the Clone Wars.
Right.
Okay.
But I mean, like rare occasions that I this is the best episode of the series so far. That's saying a lot. So yeah.
Okay. Beard Fasse.
AR2 dance program. I mean, I said I thought that it was one of the best hours of television, and R2 agrees. Like, it's one of the best. AR2. AR2.
R2 hates you.
R2's having a discussion with Baby Grogu right now. So
Yeah.
R2 is just saying in droid speak, I'm not your dancing monkey.
Yes, he is.
hey, by the way,
Don't say no. Behave yourself.
He's intimidated.
Robot.
Lane's
AR2.
intimidating him.
Yeah, Lane's
Game mode.
intimidating him.
AR2. Do you remember? Yeah, he's not cooperating.
Well, yeah, you just did him.
Okay, let's see who's next. Put the gallery back up. Thank you, Son.
Well, honestly, this is probably the only episode I'd ever give a 10 to. Straight across the board.
Whoa.
Yeah,
AR2.
it was
Reset system.
quite fascinating watching
Reset system.
those droids just beat the shit out of Din into the fucking bulkhead. That was amazing.
it was like a cartoon. It was great.
It was. It
I
was like
thought
watching
you
a
would
cartoon.
die.
The only thing I really absolutely hated about this episode was the fucking dubstep.
I loved it.
It's like these robots are starting up, and I'm like hearing Skrillex, and I was like, "Fuck this! I'm out." This actually turned into a whole thing. I'm out.
Oh, that was awesome. It's just,
Star
son,
Wars
thank you.
dubstep. Oh my god!
But
Okay.
I do hope that they release like an album of the different Mandalorian intro themes, because they've been different every episode.
I think they actually do that on Spotify.
No, actually, I have Amazon Music. There is a separate album for every episode.
Mm-hmm.
That is how awesome they are with the music. Every single episode has a separate album.
You know what's interesting though about the music, and I was noticing this in this most recent episode, is, I mean, they're all variations on a theme. Like it's the same melody. You know, they do some different arrangements and stuff, but it's like, which is fine. I mean, I think it works. I think it's well composed, but it's not like, you know, like Star Trek, like from those old scientists, they had this music that has become so iconic that, you know, like if two characters are fighting and someone inevitably will start going dun 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 dun. And I just don't see Mandalorian, apart from its actual like main theme, having anything else like that, which they could. You know?
I'm highly recommending that you check out all the albums, because all the music is surprising enough, it is very unique in between each episode and within the episodes themselves. I've come to have a great appreciation for Ludwig Göransson here. By the way, who also did the music for Community, of all things. But he reminds me very much of Bear McCreary in going to different styles of music and of course his talent. You know, it's like I saw the gallery the documentary about the music, and I've come to find out that he's a guitarist first and foremost, but he plays every instrument in the fucking planet. He's just so incredibly brilliant and talented. And very much reminds me of Bear McCreary and just his ability to use different styles of music and use different, even of course, just get different themes down. And I know it doesn't seem like that when you're watching it, but then when you go back and you listen to all the music, it's amazing how diverse it is. So I highly recommend.
Okay, very good. Okay, so I think I'm the last one. So here's what I will say. There's only one thing that brings this down to a 9.5 for me. And that is, and I think I've complained about this before, but it was so evident in this one. It's like those fucking stormtroopers aren't worth a damn. Like, come on, you guys, at least make them feel like something of an opponent. But they just mow through them they're a lawnmower going through the grass.
But that's the way stormtroopers
That's
are.
why it's
They've
so dumb,
been
dude.
Idiots.
That's why it's so dumb.
But yeah,
That's
but
why
stormtroopers have been idiots since Empire Strikes Back.
Troopers were so fucking important.
Right, this has been addressed in the Star Wars Legends, and that
I know.
So
Watch Rebels.
It's a retcon, but I don't know. It just doesn't feel. It doesn't feel authentic to me that like these are earned.
Are idiots.
Like
that's what.
That these are really earned accomplishments by these characters, because they're just mowing down these guys who are like putting up basically zero resistance.
Those blaster marks are too accurate for smear sand people. These were stormtroopers.
Right.
And that means the sand people don't exactly have very good aim.
Right.
Watch Rebels.
I mean, the one time we actually saw like a Jawa or anything shoot a gun, it was at point blank range.
Yeah, generally speaking, that's how it works. I mean, stormtroopers are basically like the stormtroopers are collectively like the Paul Blart Mall cops of the.
Yeah, I guess.
But
then how do you?
They try to get the stormtrooper to do something in this series, like hit a baby, it pissed off a lot of people.
I think the idea of stormtrooper. I think the idea of
I get the idea. I just think it looks bad. It just
I think the idea for stormtroopers, as I understand it, look, the Empire had a manpower shortage, and we're basically scooping up anybody to be stormtroopers. And I think their idea is just overwhelm them with sheer numbers.
Right.
That is the idea.
Except They don't ever.
Well, yeah, well, not when they're taking. Well, when they're taking on
Well-
for trained fighters like the Mandalorians, Boba
Yeah.
Fett, Fennec, and Cara Dune.
Don't
No,
forget.
they're not going to. They're not
This is
going to.
this is
The
this is equivalent to the
overwhelming
Iraqi Republican Guard going up against SEAL Team 6.
Jackpot. Yeah, I mean that's basically what they are.
Okay.
There's also
That
the
might
theory,
move me.
and
That might
Carlos,
move me.
you're going to absolutely hate this, that there is literal plot armor built into the universe of Star Wars, and it's
Yeah.
called the Force.
Well-
It encompasses and penetrates all things, and it tries to guide characters to where they're supposed to be when they're supposed to be there. It ensures it ensures their relative safety, and it ensures that certain events
Don't
turn
make
out
me-
in certain ways.
Don't make me
He
change.
said penetrate.
And here's the deal. And if you've realized, like, Din and the Mandalorian crew didn't even need to show up. Grogu was going to be saved by Luke at the end of the day.
Oh yeah, you're probably right about that.
Yeah.
I mean, how else are Jedi supposed to, deflect faster than light blaster shots?
Yeah, when you put it that way, the whole episode ends up being kind of meaningless.
Well, no, because
Um,
Mandalorian got a
It's
new
not
ship.
meaningless. It's about the
mean
journey, not
anything.
the destination.
Okay, fair enough. All right,
They
so
didn't know Luke was going to show up.
I want to point out something more about Luke too. Did you notice how much better he was 5 years after Jedi than he was?
yes,
So that leads me to believe that he spent a lot of time studying the Jedi ways over the past 5 years. So
Well, it's with the whole dark outfit. He almost looked like
He's
Vader,
always had
right?
that.
Anakin.
yeah, that's his Jedi outfit.
He had that in Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, that's all he
No,
had.
No, not Empire.
no.
He didn't get
Yeah,
that until
Sorry,
Return of the
Return
Jedi.
of the Jedi.
Jedi.
Okay, well,
Jedi. That's Jedi. Yeah.
In fact, what was funny about it then, I remember when I saw it the first time in the theaters, I was like, look, he's dressed up like a Jedi. Because it just felt like he wasn't ready for it. But like he was working, like he was
if you're
trying
going
too
off the
hard to
Luke that
look.
was in Empire Strikes Back. He was still the whiny farm boy.
Yeah, exactly.
I want
And he goes
Anyway.
back to being the whiny bitch in The Last Jedi.
Okay, you guys cracked me up. Okay, all right, let's so we've done all the ratings. So that's
Here's a
Mandalorian.
question. Here's a question that Greg asked that we need to ask.
Yes.
Who mowed down enemies better? Luke's hallway scene or Vader's hallway scene?
Vader's
Oh,
always seen.
I'm going
well,
with-
Vader's was more terrifying.
Right. Yeah.
But in
Luke
terms
was-
of like how well they did it,
Well, look,
I think they're
it's
probably about the
almost-
same.
It's almost alike.
Luke was precision, man. That was surgical, baby.
Meanwhile, Vader was all brute force and fear.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's a
Right.
good, yeah. that's a good-
By the way, and this is the thing that we didn't bring up here that I really remember when all the Dark Troopers just stopped and turned around.
Yeah, like all of a sudden it's like
what was that? It's like
well, they're
it's like,
force sensitive, right? Aren't they?
No, but
No,
they,
no, no,
they
they're
do
not.
have a linked. They're all linked. They're able to share combat data. So when a
Okay.
new threat shows up, they're all going to turn to engage.
I kind of got the feeling that there was a little bit more going on there. That Luke was actually using some force power there to get in their heads, as it were. And
That's a possibility, too.
moment. So yeah, because I mean everything just dead stopped. They gave a shit about getting through those blast doors. So
Yeah.
Great episode.
Okay, well that wraps up The Mandalorian for season 2. We've got, good lord, how long do we have to wait until the next one? Unless it's
Year.
Boba
A
Fett,
year.
that's
Long
2021.
time.
I don't think it's a different series. I think we would have heard about this already if it were. I mean, they had an investors meeting for God's
Yeah,
sake.
that's true. That's true.
Nobody told
Well,
them
no, but not if they wouldn't have. Not if this was.
They wouldn't have
going to
spoiled. Yeah.
They wouldn't have spoiled
All
it.
right, all right then.
We'll find out soon enough. We'll keep an eye out for that. Okay, so let's move to our closing segment of the show, which we do every week. What are we watching? And this week we're going to start with Stormtrooper Beard Fassé.
So this week I wrapped up watching The Undoing, which was very contrived and kind of expected. The finale, like it was like, like who did it? You expected to be the person who did it, and it was just eh. And then we also finished up watching The Flight Attendant, which was really well done. And
Yeah, I've heard good things.
yeah, probably one of the neatest concepts. I like the idea of like just these miniseries. Miniseries on growing up were always like drama filled, like emotional porn. These are a lot more like plot driven.
Yeah, they're tightly plotted. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm really liking this. I hope that like this it kind of is a bridge between like a full series and a movie. So I'm hoping that we see more of these.
All right, very good. And you're not buck naked anymore, so you're just going to be, well, but you are wearing. Are you wearing pants now?
No, I'm still wearing my furry pants.
Furry pants.
I just.
That's what she said.
That's what he said.
Anyway, what did you watch this week, Sean?
I started watching Manhunter, Deadly Games, which is basically the second season of the series Manhunter. The first season was Manhunter Unabomber, and Manhunter Unabomber is very well done. Manhunter Deadly Games is a fucking fantasy, and it's really offensive how bad it is. I mean, if you don't know anything about the history of the 96 bombing and Richard Jewell and then the subsequent manhunt for Eric Rudolph, if you don't know anything about it going into it, I'm sure you'll enjoy it thoroughly. It makes my head hurt how bad they got in the details. And, I posted in the group, I said, look, I don't mind creative license. I get that in order to tell a more dramatic story. They're just creating events from whole cloth that never happened. For example, they're making a huge deal about the Eric Rudolph hiding in the North Carolina mountains and how he got help from locals. When the FBI has come around and said there is no evidence of this whatsoever, and in fact, we don't think it's even a possibility because Eric Rudolph was such a loner that he would never have accepted help from anyone anyway. So they've spent like 3 episodes in this fairy tale on this. So I'm still watching it to see where it goes. But if you're looking for any kind of realistic,
spoiler, they get him.
Yeah, what's that?
I said spoiler, they get him.
Yeah, they get him after 5 years. Yeah, but the portrayals of these characters is just so cartoonish too. And it's like it's a shame because, like I said, the Unabomber one was incredibly well done and very accurate. But this is just not good, and it's really disappointing. The best part about this, the Richard Jewell stuff is closer to reality, but they've heavily embellished on that as well. And of course, Cameron Britton, who we love, if you ever watch Mindhunter, and of course, The Umbrella Academy, Cameron Britton's in this and as Richard Jewell, and he does an excellent job. But overall, I'm not very pleased with this.
Did you see the Richard Jewell movie? Just curious.
I did, and
what did you think of that?
It was okay. They tried to squeeze a lot into it. I think it fell short in a lot of ways. It's far more accurate than this. Of course, the biggest complaint with the Richard Jewell movie is that they heavily implied that Kathy Scruggs, the reporter for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, was sleeping with people for leads, and there's no evidence for that whatsoever. But of course, they don't do that in this, but they just screw up so many other things with this whole series that it's very problematic. I'm committed now, so I'm going to finish it up. But
you are a glutton for punishment.
I am.
Okay, let's go to Travis and Lane.
I have not really watched anything this week.
You've been writing a lot, so...
Yes, I have been writing a lot.
You are forgiven, my son. So then we will jump ahead to... thank you, Ross.
All right.
I'm going counterclockwise. That's why I needed to see the gallery. Ross, yes. What did you want this week?
The Black Pants Legion on YouTube has released the latest Tech Talks Battletech. This time focusing on the background of the battle mech known as the Rifleman. And they've been what I really like about this series is that they've been using the machine that they're covering, the war machine that they're covering, to flesh out the background of the universe of BattleTech. setting the stage and the greater setting that led to the creation of the machine, and not just covering the machine itself, and really fleshing things out. Once more, their pacing, their scoring, the writing is all really solid, very compelling, and so much fun to listen to. At one moment you're compelled with a dramatic buildup, and next thing you're laughing out loud because a tyrant is wearing a bib. And to top all that off, they have said each and every one of the Tex Talks BattleTech videos to be a part of a fundraiser going towards several veterans charities. And just before this episode released, they did a Payday 2 stream where they raised $10,000 for St. Jude.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's incredible. So good job, Tex, Black Pants Legion. I love your stuff. Keep it up. But for God's sakes, get some sleep.
Yeah, get some sleep.
Tex is a notorious overachiever and workaholic.
And undersleeper, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's see who's next. Stalwart Justin.
Let's see. I haven't really watched too much else since Week Eater other than Mandalorian and Discovery. I did start a Farscape rewatch. I was looking for something else to start after finishing Stargate SG-1, so I've been kind of going back and watching that one and trying to figure out why the hell I even enjoyed that show. But yeah, other than that, yeah, that's pretty much been it.
Okay, thank you very much. Beard Fassé.
The Undoing and the Flight Attendant.
Right, that's right. We got. How did I? Okay, thank you for repeating that. Son.
So I watched the Christmas Chronicles 2 this week. It's actually really good.
Isn't Sean proud of you? Sean, you're proud of her for that, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Look, I like Kurt Russell as Santa. Kurt Russell is my Santa Claus. No ifs, ands, buts.
No, I absolutely love him as Santa Claus, without question. Yep.
I can't accept him as Santa Claus.
Why?
To me, he will always be the computer wore tennis shoes.
Well, he'll always be Snake Plissken to me, but
You guys are losing me.
It's a movie he made when he was basically a teenager.
He is Jack O'Neill, Stargate SG-1, Stargate the movie. Jack O'Neill.
He will always be the Han Solo that never was. If you've ever,
That's right. That's right.
Hey! He's not Jack O'Neill with 2 L's. He's Jack O'Neill with 1 L.
What is that?
So if he had 2 L's, he would be David's brother and fat.
You ever notice that? By the way, I hate to get off topic. You ever notice he do that a lot in like TV and movies? So like they'll take a name like for example, like John McClane's name's all fucked up. It's no way you would ever think that name should be spelled.
Yeah.
Bartlett. How does President Bartlett only have 1 T at the end of his
T.
name? What is that about? Why do they do that? Carlos, you're a person who does movies and TVs and things. Explain this to us. Explain this to us now.
It is something we like to do. If we're going to use a normal name, we've got to have a weird spelling. Look at The Expanse. The name of the Secretary General, Christian, which you think is Christian, like Christian, but no, it is CHRISGJEN, Christian.
You guys fucking with us. Okay.
So it's a very writerly thing. So sorry about that. But
What's really weird is that Josiah Bartlett is the direct descendant of the
Josiah
real
Bartlett.
Governor Josiah Bartlett, who does have 2 T's.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's true. Josiah Bartlett.
Hey, Travis.
Damn.
Oh yeah, Greg wants you to fix Q.
Number 15.
Yeah, he's number 15 and he's sticking by it, Greg.
Greg, good luck on that one.
I could put it this way, I can see one person in my top 10 being controversial, but I do not believe Q should be in the top 5. I'm very solid on my top 5. I do not believe Q has anything on my top 5.
Okay, so let me ask you this: you'll be done by the time of our next show, which is next Saturday, right? Will we be done by then?
No,
there will be like 3 more entries.
Okay, well we'll revisit maybe for our New Year's episode.
So now we know Dreadnought's in the top 8.
I guess we'll see. Okay, so for me, I didn't watch anything apart from what I've been watching lately. So I will tell you that that at last, his Dark Materials is getting really, really good. And I was because I thought it's had a kind of a rocky beginning this season, but it has just improved with each episode, and it looks like the next week's is going to be a really big deal. So I really encourage you to watch it. It is a great mix of fantasy and children, adults. It's one of those things that has children as main characters that does not have to bow down so low as to make the adults all be stupid. So that makes it fun to watch. So and then of course I saw Mandalorian, and I watched Discovery twice, and that pretty much took up my week. So that is it. So that brings us to the end of another Real Super Geeks podcast. Thank you all folks at home for joining us, and thank you of course to my fellow hosts for their stunning wit and wisdom. We're going to wrap up for this week. Next week, of course, remember, program note that we will not be broadcasting on Friday because it is Christmas Day. We will be broadcasting the next day, Saturday the 26th. So join us back then. I assume same time, right, Justin? 8:30? Yes. Travis, you're going to say something?
Yeah, I guess it's worth noting. I don't know how many people in the Star Trek group are watching right now. Probably not too many, but I do intend to try and figure out the Twitch watch party features. I'll probably not to be the downer of the show or anything.
You're never the downer.
I know that I am probably not going to be the only person who may be spending the holiday alone this year.
Why do you have so little faith in yourself, Travis?
Well, I mean, I'm just going about this logically. My family lives out in Spokane. My girlfriend's out in Canada, and I can't visit her. And my sister will be with the
I was just kidding.
boyfriend. Shut up, Carlos. You're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to do that.
Okay. Just tell me what I need to do.
The roommates are doing their own thing. Anyway, I'll probably, like I said, be figuring out this Twitch watch party feature. I'll probably be streaming some fun episodes of Star Trek. Just a little something to get people smiling, because I know that this year's been hard for a lot of people.
If you're not doing anything Christmas Day, maybe we can host a game thing like Drawful or something.
We'll see what's going on. I'm not entirely sure what's
I'm not doing nothing Christmas Day either, so I mean,
I'm doing Sing Along Fiddler on the Roof, you bitches.
I'm going to be building the friggin' Razor Crest. Suck it, Disney.
It's already built.
I'm going to be going over to Jason's house and destroying his Razor Crest.
I thought DJ Harumph over here was going to be making a cardboard cutout of Mirror Universe Travis to start dating.
Oh, that's true. It could happen. No, it's really Lane that I want to date. I love it. All right. Well, that brings us to the end of another awkward week on.
Let's get out of here.
Oh no!
I do have one question though.
Okay.
Travis, I'm looking through your list now. I have one question. How the fuck does Chang rate lower than Shinzon?
Read the entries. Read the entries. If we're gonna go through this, let's do this on New Year's Eve.
Let's do this on the New Year's show. We'll do that. We're gonna review your list, Travis.
You can throw your tomatoes at me all you want, then, and I'll say how wrong you are.
Okay.
The fact that Shinzon's even on this list. You're wrong.
All right, that's my cue to get out of here.
Okay.
Those are tomatoes.
Okay, make sure you have some. Angry sip some tea for us. And for those of
We
you,
have someone willing to be on the show for that for that episode.
which one?
Greg.
Sure.
Oh, for the review of Travis's list.
Mhm.
Give me a mic for that one. please.
Yeah, I think we can maybe do that. Justin, you want to make that happen? All right.
Yeah. Hey,
That's why we call him Stalwart Justin.
Hit me up on social, and we'll see what we can do.
All right. So remember that will be on not the Friday, but the Saturday of New
Yeah, it'll be
Year's.
this Saturday.
Boxing Day.
Christmas Eve and Saturday of New Year's Eve. So it's going to be 2
New Year's
days.
Day, not New Year's Eve.
Yeah, it'll be New Year's Day.
New Year's Day.
Okay, great. So thank you for joining us. Thanks again to my fellow
Are we
hosts.
doing Florida Man?
Yes, of course we are. I was just going to get to that. You are welcome to stay, folks at home, for our regular post-show segment of Florida
Florida
Man.
Man.
So, where we, of course, cover all the weird and bizarre Florida Man stories of the week.
Because Lane can.
Because Lane can or can't?
Can.
Lane can be Florida Man?
No, because Lane can't.
What are you
Florida
talking
Man. Because Lane can do Florida Man. Oh, never mind. It was supposed to be a bad joke. It failed.
Okay, well, it was.
It was.
It actually was a
Yeah, success.
It
All
didn't
right.
get the response I wanted, but that's okay.
Oh, that's all right. You gave it your best shot, Justin.
I'm tired.
So, Justin, why don't you play us out, Keyboard Cat, and so that those who need to go can go, and those who need to stay will get our Florida Man stories in order.
All
All right, everyone. Good night.
Bye bye.
Good night, John.
Merry Christmas to all.
All right.
Okay.
I didn't get a dance enough with R2.
Oh, there you go. All right, he got his dance in.
Hey, before we get started on that one, hey, Ross, with the new DMCA stuff over Twitch, should I go ahead and end the stream over there?
No. We've had it on for Florida Man before.
Okay, well, I didn't know if it's an update, but I'll just double check it. Okay.
No, I can clip this and share it individually later.
All right, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. So, who has the first Florida Man story? I actually have one.
Go ahead, Carlos.
It was one that came over the transom just today. Florida teen, so it's really Florida boy, I guess. Florida teen survives after boat anchor impales his head.
Florida Man.
And no kidding, it is like a U-shaped scar right here on the kid's head. There's a picture.
I thought there for a minute you were actually going to say Florida girl penetrated the man's head.
No. It is a scary thing. And it was in
Naples,
People
Florida.
magazine.
Not for street racing. Florida Man blasts bad boys.
Oh, we've talked about that one before.
Yeah, that was last week.
Florida Man.
Yeah,
bad
this was
boy.
December 5th.
Florida man walks home bleeding to death after sustaining a shark bite.
Jesus.
He didn't die, though. It just says profusely bleeding.
Yeah, Caleb
Florida
Bennett,
Man.
14 years old, impaled his head on a boat anchor. That's just so gross.
So here's one funnier than that involves actual death.
Yay!
Florida man
Funnier.
dies after window closes on him in the home he was burglarizing.
Florida Man.
Wait. We got to take a look at this guy because, I mean, I usually don't like picking on people for the way they look.
Let me
But-
tell you.
Where is that?
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
Maybe he was from Kentucky.
Can I ask you a question, an honest question?
Yes.
Like, what is up with face tattoos?
I don't get it.
It's most
I mean, I get sleeves. I get, like, but I just from here on.
face tattoos are such fucking so fucking stupid. They're fucking stupid. Like,
Okay, now
I
we
guess.
should name you DJ Harumph, Justin.
I mean, I don't. I mean, okay, tattoos are
Okay.
fine. Tattoos are fine in world. So why would you do that to your face? Why you
To
can't?
show the world you're a badass. You don't
I
conform
guess.
to the norms of society.
It
You're
doesn't
on
make
your
you.
own.
It doesn't
You
make
make
you
your own
badass.
rules.
It makes you a dumbass.
Here we go. Naked Florida man attacks homeowner during home invasion, deputies say.
Deputies say.
From
Florida
Tampa,
man.
a Florida man has been convicted of pretending to be an attorney and filing more than 200 fake immigration applications for victims in an area including Plant City, Ruskin, and Wiumwa.
Republican Florida man.
Wow. Okay, here's a good one. The Rolling Stones' Mick Jagger is now a Florida man. He bought a mansion south of Tampa.
Nice. The fake
Florida
attorney.
man.
The fake attorney's been sentenced to 20 years.
That's
All right.
Florida man hits homeowner with a stolen weed eater during burglary.
Florida man. Not the
Florida
first time.
man.
Yeah, that happened.
Florida woman thought a cat got into her Christmas tree, but it wasn't a cat.
It was a raccoon.
It was a raccoon.
Florida wildlife.
There was a feel good story here that I just saw. Where's that?
Florida
I'll get this
woman
one while you're
charged with
recording.
assaulting her sister with a Christmas decoration.
What?
Because of course.
Fort Lauderdale. Trump's move to his Florida estate challenged by Florida man.
Florida man.
Just the one. You guys know the story behind that, right?
Let's see. Attorney Reginald Stambach sent a letter this week to the town of Palm Beach saying that he represents a neighbor who doesn't want the president to take residence at the 17-acre property of Mar-a-Lago
Correct.
because it would decrease the area's property values.
Well, and actually, it's more than that. He actually, because Mar-a-Lago is on the Florida Historic Register or something like that, and they allowed him to make improvements on this historic building to turn it into a club, but only on the condition that it would only ever be a club. It would never be anyone's residence. So he signed an agreement saying it would never be a residence for anyone. No one could stay there longer than 20 days in a single year.
21 days.
21, thank you. So there's like an actual legal agreement that, in place to keep him from doing that.
Yeah, but
Of course, we also have laws that have
is that
supposedly
even
kept him from doing
legal?
stuff that he did.
Yeah.
I mean, when did I stop Trump before? He's going to do what Trump wants to do. Florida always wants it there, so they're probably going to ignore it till it becomes a Democratic state.
Well, we'll see.
Florida television station helps kids have better Christmas.
Oh,
Aw.
yeah.
Yeah, so according to this article, the Salvation Army for, I think it said Southwest or Southwest, I believe, Florida, the Salvation Army warehouse of toys for kids was empty, and WINK was helping fill it by basically asking their viewers to send in toys.
Aww. We can't hear a word you're saying, Justin.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
You've been getting softer and softer the entire podcast.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is.
You're a big
like-
softy.
I know it, but oh my. Yeah, we had a deal here where the local police handed out toys to kids, and some asshole tried to take it around and sell it online, and it got caught. Turns out after the dude made complaints on social media about being called out for it, he had warrant out for his arrest from his court date. Guess where he's at now?
Alabama. Oh, jail. Okay, same thing.
It's here in Indiana.
I've got one. Florida golfer snatches ball from gator's tail. and there's video.
Again.
Oh my God, show us.
Oh.
Oh, I've seen this one. Actually, if Brenda's still watching, I think she sent me a photograph of this. I love it that the alligator like doesn't go after the guy. He ends up running away into the water.
Dumbass.
So
Was
here's
the ball really
one.
worth it?
Yes, if you've ever played it. I mean, this is normal Florida golf here, man. I mean, like,
It's Florida golf.
If you've
Florida
ever
golf.
played golf, the ball
Florida
is always
golf.
good to go.
you gotta take the ball. You gotta take the hit where it lies.
There's a reason why every white man on earth plays golf, apparently. It does something to your brain.
Let's not forget about what's his chubs in his one hand.
So that's what's wrong with the drunk.
I wouldn't even go there. Okay.
Every
so
president is golfed. It's not just him.
That's
So-
true. Even Obama.
Florida man advertises his taco truck as he provides eyewitness report to a reporter of a meth head throwing dog off motel balcony.
Florida man.
Here's
Oh,
one.
I noticed. I saw Brenda just posted that she's still here. So, Brenda, my question to you was: is that the same story as the one you sent? You posted on my feed because it looked like the same alligator. Of course, all alligators look alike to me, but we'll see.
That's
so
reptilist,
That's
Carlos.
so racist.
I
Carlos.
know it's alligatorist at the very least.
Like all Gorn look the same to me.
Well,
Hey, I'm going to take that one personal.
Yeah.
All right, here's one.
All episode up until now.
Out of Pensacola, Florida pastor who fought against alcohol sales on Sundays arrested on child pornography charges.
Well,
Yeah,
at least
see,
he's
we
got his
talked-
priorities in order.
We talked about that last week.
We
It's
did.
This one was posted on the 16th.
Yeah, because this is an update. Because we talked about this pastor being
I don't
arrested last week. We just didn't find out about him being anti-alcohol.
Oh, well, that shines a new light on
Florida
it.
man.
There's the taco truck one.
You know,
Tuesday.
as I'm looking through the list of Florida Man stories, I have to tell you, I think we're a little short on Florida Man stories this week.
Leading
Because
up
of
to
the
the
holidays?
holidays, it's going to be a little light.
Well,
Come
it's
Christmas and New Year's, though, oh my god.
Oh
It's-
yeah, once we get into New Year's.
Oh yeah.
well, you got to remember, right now is the season of giving, not taking. So Florida man is naturally absent
Of course.
And
Of
we
course.
got the
because
holidays,
we
so-
all know Florida man takes the spotlight,
Oh
not
god,
gives it.
the holidays is about to get crazy with Florida man. So probably what we need to do for the next week is probably collect Florida man stories for the show. That way we have them all ready to go.
Oh, here's one. Florida man charged with picking magic mushrooms while carrying an alligator.
Now that is a
That's the Florida
twofer.
man.
That is a twofer. I
There's
have to tell you,
nothing-
I'm looking at a photograph of this kid, the 14-year-old whose head was impaled on a boat anchor, and he survived miraculously. His hair's grown back, but his head is like severely dented, like really dented.
Mm.
Poor kid. He's smiling though, so good for you, kiddo.
Got
Caleb.
another Florida woman one.
Florida man.
Out of Daytona. Florida woman tosses Miracle, the German Shepherd, off a balcony after attacking her maid.
Wait,
Florida man.
the dog's name was Miracle?
Yes. And apparently the dog lived.
Well, it's a miracle.
There you go. Now, is that actually a dog or is it a dog that thinks it's a cat?
The dog, now nicknamed Miracle by Animal Services, managed to land on its feet. The dog, now nicknamed Miracle, managed to
Oh, so
land
he was
feet
named
first and
after
tried to run away before he was corralled by bystanders.
So it is a dog that thinks it's a cat.
Florida dog.
Yeah,
Okay.
the lady's been arrested on animal cruelty charges.
Stalwart Justin, I just sent you a picture of this kid so you can put it up and you can see his poor dented head.
Oh,
And I'm not making fun of him. I'm just amazed at this kid like surviving this.
It's quite angular.
It's yeah.
Yeah, you got it.
I put it in chat, in our Super Geeks chat, in Facebook.
Jason, can you hear?
Oh yeah, Jason, can you do it?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Wait, what?
That's a pretty severe head divot. There it is.
Yeah, can you make that bigger?
Mm.
Oh, that poor
Fortunately, he's
kid.
young enough that his brain will be able to remap itself.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
Ugh, that just gives me the heebie-jeebies.
It's amazing what the human body can survive.
It's
That's
true.
what Din's head looked like after getting slammed into the side of the corridor by the Dark Trooper.
Oh, no. And I thought he was dead. I thought he was.
What was that?
I had a damn voice changer on. You know damn good well that was.
I don't know why this particular Florida man story makes me laugh, but
Oh my
the
God.
headline is Florida man killed in Alabama plane crash. Thank you, son.
That's actually pretty funny.
It's kind of funny.
Florida man trusts
Florida
rednecks
man.
to fly.
Got another Florida woman for you. Out of Boca Raton. Woman threatens neighbor. Florida woman threatens neighbor with her parrot.
Hey, parrots can be vicious.
A
Hey,
woman from Boca
ladies,
Raton is facing burglary and battery charges for threatening a neighbor with her parrot, police say.
her last name is Peck.
Mary Grace.
It's not. Is it really?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I'm dropping
Well,
the
that
link
is
into.
technically good. Pecker.
That's really good. Between the dented head and the
And a
Parrot.
pecker.
Florida man and
Pecker.
self-proclaimed private attorney general, figure that one out, sentenced to 20 years for what feds call mortgage debt reduction scheme.
Ass Florida man.
Yeah, there you have it.
Oh, this one looks good. Let me bring up the details.
What?
I'll let Ross go first.
Florida man plus monster truck equals news article.
Yes.
Florida
Yeah,
man.
that one.
The hell?
It's essentially a guy with a lift thing on his truck, strapped on 4 extra wheels, and is now essentially his truck floats.
Essentially. Wow. Okay. Well, the headline really was the best part of that story.
Yeah, I'm sharing the video in chat now so it can be shared.
For all his glory.
Or wait, I can share.
So, oh well, yeah, you can share the video.
Jason can hear him with there. Put up on screen.
What's that?
Where wants to put up there. What the fuck? What the fuck?
Wait.
You can't drive in the ocean.
Okay. What? I need to see this again.
The Coast Guard's there too.
Oh, I did. Wow.
Don't cut it, period.
He's kind of a cutie patootie.
He's got some balls, that's for sure.
And have fun doing it.
So that's Florida man.
I think I have to approve of this.
Football.
Wait. After 2 hours of sleep? All right, let's. Okay, I think that's enough.
That was something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was something.
Florida man claims his cat, named Gucci, was stolen by Uber Eats driver.
Are you sure the cat's name wasn't Grogu?
I don't know, maybe it was Grudge.
Oh
Hey, we didn't have any grudge this week, did we?
We haven't had
No,
grudge.
we didn't.
Did we need grudge this week?
No. Well, probably not. I mean, but still, his lack of presence was felt.
We had Jet Reno that.
That's
we didn't need grudge.
not true because you didn't
Yes.
realize it until just now. So
Well, I guess.
the absence of grudge was not felt until it was mentioned.
But then it was keenly felt most keenly.
Yep, here's one. Florida man says neighbor's feral cats are scratching and peeing on his vehicles.
You're getting yours from Reddit, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I have to tell you that Google News is being very disappointing this week.
Well, I'm seeing there are several reposts, so I'm having to go a little down. Where I'm coming on the end though.
Florida man.
Phrasing?
Crazy.
What? Wait a minute. You guys missed it because he literally just winked right there, okay?
Wait, Ross did?
Yes, he did.
Ross. Eyebrows of Doom. That's what I'm talking about. Eyebrows of Doom.
Florida man claims his cat named Gucci was stolen by Uber Eats driver.
Florida man.
That time he did it with like a little head shake. Did you
Was
notice
his
that?
Uber Eats driver delivering Chinese food?
I certainly hope not. Let's see what the article says.
Well, wait a minute. Before we go any further, Iowa man repeats story just claimed. Yeah, I literally just said that story, Ross.
Oh, it
Apologies.
sounded different. I think it was the Gucci that threw me.
Florida man living in Utah has to go to bed.
That would be you.
That would be.
You are a credit to your state.
Okay, that's awful.
Yes.
Yes, I also am getting very tired as my
deal.
my little shingle shot is starting to kick in. I'm getting very sleepy.
All right, everybody, have a great night.
All right. Have a good Christmas,
Saturday.
everyone, or Kwanzaa, or I guess Hanukkah just ended. So I hope you had a good Hanukkah. Otherwise,
Have a happy holiday.
yes, we will be back the day after Christmas. Please be prepared to share your best present. It's show and tell. It'll be show and tell day on the Real Super Geeks.
I found our last
I'm
one.
going to need, I know what my best present is, and I'm going to need Joe's help on it.
Okay, let's get Joe.
She has one last good one. Let's hear it.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, son.
I hope nobody's mentioned this one already. Florida woman fired after a Zoom meeting while having oral sex.
I'm going to have to say to her,
You sure
audio
that didn't happen?
only.
You sure that
She
didn't
could probably
happen in
make more
Real
money
Super
on OnlyFans.
Maybe.
Just hope you don't get outed by the New York Post.
Right. That's right. That was that med tech, wasn't it?
Oh my God!
I'm feeling a little tubing about that one.
Tubin.
Wow.
Good night,
Alrighty.
ladies
All right.
and
There's
gents.
me and Joe. We're going to hang out after for a minute.
Okay. Son's cackling.
It just seemed like Jason had a bad taste in his mouth.
It does